おはようございます。おはようございます。ありがとうございます。おはようございます。ちょっと声が出ないな。お待たせいたしました。起きてました。ちょっと寝坊しました。
That I remember, like they would be set up in Godspot and Geyser on World's Edge and fall to NRG challenging for them, or even that happened to them in launch side and NRG oob play. So now seeing them all the way out in the ring, gonna go ahead and hit that beacon. We want to get that insta scan and see just who is around there. Now, granted, it's gonna ping the enemy teams as well for that short duration, but this should kind of give you a good idea of which way you need to navigate.
I feel like just looking at what their screen looks like right now of all the enemies in the area, I feel like the entire south side by tree is probably all highlighted red, so they know that they're probably clear off this north side. Some teams though taking their time to rotate. Saucer and company rotating away from landslide right now. One of the other teams aside from them are going to be 100 Thieves that usually play by the edge, trying to find an opportunity to start rotating from the north side. That's going to be the team that could actually circle keep complexity here, but they're going to be able to utilize the jump tower. They have the Valkyrie just in case if they find themselves in a pinch situation.
All about the journey in as complexity, just dancing around this jump tower, waiting to hit that med kit before enacting on beginning their journey towards that next zone. But for the most part, I believe there is only 2 teams on the outskirts of the next zone, complexity being one of them. Optic making their way over, we know they land a lot of big mod type area, so they're going to be able to walk in through launch site likely. So the question is, will they be gate kept here from hanging out in the ring so long? You can see Monsoon. 6 med kits, Vicky. 6.
Do you think he's got enough? I'm not too sure. Gotta see. I gotta see out here, especially with them taking their time into this next circle. They did pick up somebody real quick on that Valkyrie skyward dive, but they are pretty far away, and that's actually why they're rotating on this side of Fragment West instead of opting to continuously push through landside, where not only would they get pressured out, but they'll be on the low ground where the squad is going to be on top of that where as well. So complexity.
ミラー配信しとるんで、その川瀬さんとかあれでさんかアッシーさんもやってるからそっちを見らせてもらったらよかったかなと思ったりもしてるけど、まあいいだろう。
Kind of close that distance. They'll have the scan from Valkyrie to be able to see what could potentially be free, but they're not going to get that immediate scan into a building. So let's see if they can get over and out and into that choke point, but they're getting peppered from afar, so a lot of information straight in. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I like that they haven't taken a lot of damage on the initial flight, because typically someone will fall so incredibly low that they get inted on, but the fact that they were able to do that safely is really nice.
And what's good for them is they're also going to be able to rotate on the north side of Thermal Station from that slight high ground, and then with them trying to come in from this side of the circle, I'm expecting them to possibly run into 100 Thieves who also will
やっぱプレイオフに出てる有名どころしかわからんよ。てか解説実況の声めっちゃでかくね。いやなんかずっと喋り続けとるな。ねボックスケーターごめん。おはよう。びっくりしたわ。目覚めたらなんか8時6分とか。今日は何試合？これ何試合だ？6じゃないかな。これ待って。1日の終わるやつじゃないもんね。6じゃないか多分。まだマッチワンですしね、お寿司ね。しかもマッチワンの18部隊じゃん、まだ。ラウンド2じゃん。了解した的な感じ。了解したじゃない。ちゃんと間に合ってる気がするな。 すいませんでした。30分ほど遅れたんですいませんでした。それは僕らと思うんだけどね。100で入居する後のパーティーだね。前。そう、おはよう。眠たい。朝ごはん持ってきたから食べよう。目覚めるだろ、これで。そう、多分日本でやると一緒。お。
Native gaming on your screen, Lane, Kenny, and Bullet. Bullet coming in from APAC South, recently moving to the US, formerly had played on Sudaraiku. So excited to see kind of what this team can do thus far, just kind of nestled in behind the building in the back of the outskirts of Tree, and you can see
すごいね、こんなずっと喋ってんのすごいな。
coming in from a Mad Maggie, likely on the inside. Clane on Wraith. A lot more Wraiths here in NA.
That's interesting too. I love seeing the difference between the different legend compositions we're exposed to for different regions. I mean, talk about the inside of this building alone. I love how you highlighted Bullet too. When I think about Bullet, I think about his insane Kraber plays that we've seen happen in LAN back in the championship actually of last year. So Bullet usually always out here. Like to see how he's going to be in addition for native gaming right now. The Bullet drill coming out again from the Mad Maggie. They know exactly where they're at. It's a team that probably has a seer as well. So native gaming just playing on the outside.
Very interesting. Not sure if they're going to try to make a play for the inside of that building, but you got MLS, Madness, the IGL paired alongside Shubi and Luxverdi. But we saw so much action. A lot of RE45 moments where we've had popped off in split one. So can we carry that momentum forward? I mean, we have 18 squads remaining, round 3 starting to close, and now finally checking in with TSM. You know they land live. On the bridge, getting poked and prodded. Hal on the Bangalore. No catalyst here, and Biggie on the horizon, Vicky.
Let's jump into a quick listen-in with TSM, sponsored by WD Black while they make the rotation.
全視点だったらワンチャンマスさんから許可もらえるかもしれないけど。
One shot. Careful, we can't over peek it. I'm peeking this. Valk 70. Valk is fried. I'm on ult them. My ult. I have the bat. Fucking the Valk. No, I'm not. I got him. Play slow. Play slow, guys. We got border from behind. Watch out.
いやー、ここ焦るよな、こういうシーンな。すごい。
The full 3-man behind there. Nade that. Marking that. I stuck one. They went back through portal. They're still out behind the wall. Should we kill them while the wall's up? Shoot that. I down him. I'm looking. Let's crack. I'm nading them. Nading it. Shoot the knock. I'm getting shot on the back. I knocked one. Seer in the corner.
わからねえところのチームがやられたから。
Someone mirrored us. Scan from tunnel. He took portal back. Someone mirrored us over here. We must go here. Come up, maybe. Come up. I'm bad in here. Hike can see me. I'm gonna smoke us. Yeah, I'm just gonna die here probably. I can maybe get the red soon. I'm not safe here. They can still see you there. I'm trying to stick it. I'm gonna see if I can stick it. Stick it. If I can. Stick it. Break that fence. They're fencing up. They're pushing. I got one. They're getting shot in the back. I worked them. Batting. I'm batting. We're batting. We should swing this, I think. Wait. Truck is swinging. Come to me. New team swinging us. That's my knock.
Good.
I can't. I'm trying to get away.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Don't peek it. I'm peeking it. TSM with the insane comms at the very
喋らないようにしてたんだね。
many squads in this area invited third, fourth party sentinels mirroring them on the other side. You saw Rambo go crazy with that third party at the very start. But here comes another team now making the narrative.
I mean, you've got Glitch Energy, Funk, Tech in the mix, just RKN last alive on that crypto, and we know that cryptos have the ability to try and go for the reset. But you have 12 squads remaining with round 4 closing. It's chaotic, and just like that, Tech deals the finishing
この前のシーズン
blow
見て
to
も
Rambo
確かに
Sentinels going to be eliminated and now meat
いやで
lovers
も
are
ホライ
making
ゾン
their
が減っ
way
た今ってホライゾンめちゃ強いよな
into that next zone. So you go to think who is going to kind of take
す
you
ごいな
on, right? You're on the low ground. You see the exhibit up on the right hand side. You've got Lanimals, Naughty, Alberlelli,
みんなで二人生きてる
Lou's going to be on that wraith. Here's where that
タク入ったん
portal
か
is
な
going to come
ずっと
into play. That double distance all the way out to 152. Lou going to fall. Naughty. No, that is not what you want to have happen. But between Glitch Energy and NRG, they are taken down. But NRG Guild last alive for the team. This is unfortunate.
Renegade Lobo with the bracelet toss off to the side while Lanimals gets taken down by also the team inside of these buildings. Optic predicted
やっぱこっちの配信は上に最初からこういうの全部ついとるよな。
this building
いい
from
ね。
the very beginning, so they could be taking some shots while Glory on the underside of Tree is trying to find their way around the knockdown shields. He gets taken down, and here comes another squad. Meat Lovers get eliminated, and it's a Guild now as a solo just trying to find an opportunity to prevent the rest.
やば
I mean, Guild eliminating Glory. Loba has never looked better, in my opinion. Can we get the res off onto Nathan? You can drop the
動きが
black
スマートや
marker,
な
loot up in case you're missing any heals. You can see just shy on some light ammo. Maybe you want to re-up on that. And you've got the entirety of all the death around you to pick from. So let's go ahead and get back. See if we can get to Nathan, utilizing the bracelet as a tactical to close that positioning. But getting
さすがに
from afar, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Can we get a shield off? We do.
さすがによこせん
It's
か
gonna be enough, and that is so crazy. But now on board with MLS, who has been hiding out behind this building so patiently.
You know, Madness with the Warden pick. That's what I like to call Mad Maggie. She's the Warden out here. That's why she comes in with the wrecking ball.
資産配をでもせねってそうアメリカのやつです
Out here, ready rocking that red Evo in this late game out here with the amount of damage has been able to attack onto the squads that have been funneled outside of those
やっぱいろんなチームいるから見とこうかなと思って
POYs now as MLS
ちょ
are
寝起きで声が
rifle in the distance.
やば
We know which of these squads are in that next building.
新しいクラス好きなプラがさ確かにね
Because I'm expecting each of these dome buildings to already been taken over.
Yeah, we knew Optic had made their way into that upper right-hand side of this building. So
ご飯
getting
食べてちゃん
tagged
と見よ
up,
うう
they're
わ
going
ガ
to
ス
have to fight forward, but there's a caustic inside, a Nox gas trap going to pop,
No
and they are
way.
just going to be punished for trying to move in their right.
ガスの人たちがなんか外で守ってる
And ALGS are galore, but this is just
痛え
not the push that you
痛 え
thought you were gonna get. You're setting off all the traps.
待って
They said let them force their way in. It doesn't matter if it's the caustic barrels.
しかもカタリストもいるよねここ
Right now, he tosses out the wrecking ball, but he gets shot from behind.
オプティ
MLS
ックだ
get eliminated, and it's
あ
thanks to
こっ
Optic
ちは
getting
こっちで
the
オプティ
nail in
ッ
the
ク
coffin
カ
on
タ
the
リストで
other
守って
side.
たんかやっ
Look,
ば
they have been biding their
だ
time.
から入ってくるいやガルルもいや入るのそれって思うんだけどまあ後ろからの車線が来るからもう入るしかなかったよ
Purple shields. Only 2 eliminations, but I think they're going to find a lot of success here in the late game. Look at the way the circle's pulling on that map on the upper left-hand side of your screen. They will have to go outside at some point. LTC is playing the second tower, and they also have a team on their roof. So this is a triple stacked. But if you look out to the
どういうこと
very
オ
north
プティ
of the
ックが
screen, Team
下で
Divergence,
2階にまた違う
BP
チームがいて 3
Bandit,
階とかには
CLG
ねもう
is
1チームいる
still
のか
alive on the
や
other
ば
side of the building.
That's gonna be thanks to all of Mamba's gas traps taking control over that lower side of that building that we just saw right now. I think Mamba's the only caustic in this lobby, and obviously the only caustic left right here. Alongside Nano and iShiny, Optic Gaming taking their time, playing right underneath. You highlighted perfectly, Tim.
なんか
Right
ワ
now,
ットソンがちょっと
LTC playing up the
物
low
足り
ground.
な
You
く
know
感
that
じる
Drug Free is right on top of them. Optic Gaming on the other side, CLG, Team Diverge with Sleepy Panda left, and LTC Esports in this lobby.
Yeah, I've got to hand it to all the teams coming in from the split
私のフェイスむずいよ
qualifiers,
な
putting on a strong showing here in map number 1. They feel as if they have something to prove. We always talk about NA being one of the more dominating regions, but when you eliminate a lot of the powerhouses early and you've got your split 2 qualifier teams, this just goes to show you that there's a lot of people that want to make a name for themselves and elevate their regions. We saw it happen in EMEA, and it's doing so again here today in
なんか
NA.
i3p パンダみたいなアイテムの人いなかった今左
Calm before the storm right now. 5 squads left for this
Panda?
final circle, closing in behind Drug Freak's back. Call the mobile respawn that you can find on the ground right now. Adding in some extra cover just in case. You can see the plans being made by Asura to try to close in the gap while staying on the high ground.
日
right
本も
here.
ねどんな構成か楽しみやね
Saucer, one of the members of Drug Free. I remember brief stints back on Atlanta Premiere.
カタリストが増えたなって感じはあるなこっち
Multitude
は
of teams, exhibit going out, and now the clutter and the chaos begins. Sleepy Panda out on the north side trying to play some of those boxes that they had the ability, but holding the high ground is going to be that of Drug Free. Optic Gaming falls. 4 squads remaining.
LTC, Drug Free, CLG, those exhibitions coming out makes it look like they're at a rave here too. They get the knock, but Drug Free wants to stay on the high ground. They want to put themselves in the line of sight. Impulse finishes the last player right there as LTC get eliminated.
眠いパンダいなかったね。眠いパンダいた気がしたけどな。
You can hear the knocks going in. The ring's going to pay dividends. Team Diverge member out there. They need to keep an eye on that as well.
あの人先死ぬわな。
Going to have to come out, but Drug Free is going to have to drop. We know there's a race still in play. I thought I heard the audio cue, and there it is. You can see the race going crazy right now, trying to prolong their life. CLG eliminated, but just like that, Drug Free coming out. And did I hear a little bit of hammer point action in that P2020, Vicky?
Oh yeah, you already know what's gonna come out when it comes to that P2020, nailing it down. But Drug Free coming out on top, staying on top of the high ground. Beautiful rotation here from Drug Free, as well as holding it down on the rooftop to negate any of the other squads from making their way from the north side of Tree, where a lot of the action went down, making their way.
なんか右と左の差がなんかあれだな。
Drug Free sticking true,
明るさの差か。
amazing gameplay from them.
You gotta stay in the power position. You gotta keep that height. Rain Day, welcome back. We missed you. Curious to hear your thoughts. We saw it all day in EMEA, but now NA.
急にカメラに映ったからにっこりみたいな顔してた。
on my bingo card. I'm not sure a lot of people did either. There were some crazy chaotic moments that ultimately landed them, though, the perfect spot to play from high ground, and it was great execution from them. Tiff, take a break. We're going to bring back Vicky. We're going to close out game 1 in terms of the highlights and standings. And Vicky, I don't know, is this a surprise? I'm sure it is. I think I'm just speaking more to engage in conversation, but Drug Free, what a start.
I've seen each and every one of these individual players have their shine moments, and Drug Free is a very strong team. The thing is, there's so many other strong teams in NA, so it's easy to overlook this team, but they played that so smart. They didn't know if there was a rat on the other side of what was left from Team Diverge, so they played that better safe than sorry. We saw the play come out from Sleepy Panda, what Sleepy Panda could do best, but it was Drug Free as a 3-man still up against the one solo rat that is the Wraith. I do really like to talk about the different compositions that we're exposed to, though, in NA versus EMEA. A lot more Wraith than I was expecting, Rain Day.
A lot more Wraith. There is several Horizon teams.
最後勝ったチームのなんかドラッグフリーのアスラさんが持ってましたね。ハンポ PK って。まあ、花ポついたらなんかな。
For me, Wraith is a character that got a perceptual buff in tandem with an actual buff. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, somebody will get a new skin, they'll get a cool heirloom. People will play them, play rates will go up. You'll start to think, oh, I haven't played with this character in a while. You know,
もうクラス変更とかは適用されてんのかな?
on something. We all know you start focusing on something, you start to see ways that it could impact you. But then Wraith also really went back to one of the major nerfs that she got that would open up other rotational characters, which is the distance of the portal. And you double that distance back.
ハンポ派です。ハマポ。ハンポ。
She's actually utilizing that portal.
ハンポ派か
I
な。
think you literally have a character that is going to be coming back into the meta. Yes, maybe not for EMEA, maybe a little bit for EMEA, but a lot here for North America. And I think that's really encouraging to give us even more diversity, Vicky, as we are now heading into, our game 1 highlights.
でも
Yeah, I also
プラ
love
ス
to mention, looking at the fact that Wraith
とかな、もう
was
適用され
played
とるよ
more
ね。
by one more team
キ
versus
ャラの横に
Horizon,
書い
which
てあ
is
る。
something that we
多分
don't
そのキャラ
usually
テッ
see.
クの
And this is also the very chaotic section
画
of the
面
game
とか
right
の
now.
関
With
係
16
とかもあっ
squads
て
left, I believe
も
it
う
whittled down
適
to
用さ
like
れとるんじゃないかなって
11
思って
squads,
多分
10
先用されとる
This
な。
exact fight went down. TSM were wiping squad after squad, but then here comes Sentinels moving in. Rambo getting the first knock. Then they get fourth partied right afterwards by Meat Lovers. So a lot of action happened right here underneath this railroad.
もう多分その環境になってるんだね。
Figure it out because I'm sure it was retweeted by Play Apex Esports, myself, and a bunch of other people. You could see that NA has been crazy. It's too hard to keep track of unless you had a graphic that beautifully displayed who, what, where, and that's kind of what we're seeing in terms of this game 1. It was almost like the chaos of the actual roster swaps felt like they were happening in game.
最後1枚だったレースがスリーピーパンダか。
Everyone was just back and forth until you finally got a little patience here at the very end. So does that mean Drug Free maybe was able to kind of fold the game? Or maybe we're just seeing a team like Phoenix Legacy, like Eternal, like what we watched earlier, in EMEA, having a pop-off moment at the start of a
知ってるパー、ここで知ってるのオプティックと NRG しか知らんわかる。
CLG, LTC Esports, and Optic Gaming. If you guys had these 5 teams finishing first through fifth, I think you would have been a, you should go ahead and buy some lottery tickets.
でも最終だとね、刺さりそうだね。
To NA Vicky, but NRG still trying to hang in there.
ネメシスもしっかりあるし、多分もう全部適用されとんね、新しいの。
Not getting it going quite yet.
It's surprising. I also really like to see meat lovers with 8 KP. That's actually insane. Sentinels with 5 KP to their name. We saw all the action go down in the highlight clip that we were talking about earlier before. Lanimals, though, on the other side, TSM, Complexity, Dark Zero. Talk about some big names.
TSM ダークゼロ 100T
か
な、知ってんの6チームぐらいしか知らんから。5チームか。ダークゼロはジェンバーテンがいるところですよ。2回優勝してるとこ。元リグサウスリグサウスマッサンたち。マッサンがいた時のリグの。
With meat lovers in 10 points, CLG and LTC Esports.
MLS にアルブラ
NRG tied for 5th, but in 6th place there with 8. As you can see, things are shaking up, baby. We have just kicked off game number 1 here in North America. Split 2 has begun. Will it stay?
個人個人はちょいちょい知ってんだよな。
In game 2, or will we stabilize? See some of the juggernauts of the
チーム単位で言われたらわからん。
Or is this a new dawn and a new day and a new life for those here in the ALGS? We'll find out. Don't go anywhere. Right after this, we'll have a quick break and bring you game 2.
あ、スナイプどこだっけ？なんかどっかのチームいなかったっけ？日本も気になるねってか、まだチーム発表されてないじゃん、日本。なんかもうみんな雰囲気で察してるところはあるけど。アルバラ・ナウティ・ローのラン。あ、ランってとこにいるの。へえ。ナウティとローも知っとるわ、名前は。日本はね、20何日だっけ？なんか月末に変わったよね。12からだったはずなのに。今日からだったはずなのに。26スタートですね。26スタートで1週間飛んで、次が4月の9日。で、15、16、23。だからなんか1週間、土日やる週があるんだよ。あれブラ見間違えた。うん、ちょっと見てこうぜ。この画面切り替わった時とかに。フェーズスナイプ。へぇ。最後の最後に言わせて入ると思ってたんで、全然違ったんだなと思うけど。お、ゆうひさんおはようございます。おはがるる。
That's basically translation. Ray and Vicky on the mic. We're going to be casting this one, and our job today, Vicky, is to unfuddle, unconfuse potentially some of the minds out there as to what's going on, and also get a grip onto a North American landscape of Apex Legends that has started very scattered, started very without a lot of foundation, and I think as you could see, that is where this meta has left these pros trying to figure it out, not quite knowing yet in terms of some of these rotations, getting things wrong.
有名やんな、その個人とか、まあガルでも知っとるから。あ、待って、ランボーが、ラン ランビューランボあの人かなランビュー言ってたね昨日センチネルってとこに入ったみたいな展望みたいなとこセンチネルズか
It looks like we have another Western circle on our hands right now.
We certainly do. Landslide. You can see staging, Mirage A3.
TSM がラバ
The Mirage Voyage
サイ
is
フォンあ
back
さ
in
ラバサイフォンだっけ
season
あさっての
16
なんか
Revelry, a fun location.
強いっ
Oh,
て
we
感
get
じす
an
る
immediate start with phase. My goodness.
ここ
Looks like
スナイプいる
Fallen
い
might
るい
have
る
sped
バ
up
ルキリ
there.
バル
That's
キリ
just how fast this fight is going. CCE Shiny getting taken down. It's sniped down here. It's gonna pop a shield battery. Why not? 3-2
ス
advantage.
ナイプ3
Should be an easy
down.
cleanup there. Just don't make any mistakes. And it'll do.
激浪激浪激浪激浪あああ倒したいその激浪はあナイス
And he's got to pop this. This is a very fast one.
いいよ
And
いい
luckily,
いい
they
起こ
are
せた
together
ナイ
as
ス
a team. If that came just a little bit earlier, would have stopped the res, and that would have really allowed complexity to go for a real 2v2. But
そうね 100T ワンハイトチーブス彼らも正直一人一人分かんないんだよな
if anybody can collect something like this,
去年は出てた本戦
the reinforcements are
カウン
already
トダウン
coming
だっけ
out
なんか
from
上をキャッスルの城築いてめっちゃ
both
盛り上がっ
these
とったの
teams being in
ワ
London,
ト
finding a new home in FaZe Clan.
ニューキャッス
With
ル
the
で
likes of Snipe
めちゃ
down.
めちゃ盛り上がっとった
Cody up on top here. Luda back up, as well as Monsoon. Maybe it's just best to get out of here, Vicky.
ちょっとストッポだろうねさすがにこのマップはちょっと多分ランドマークの関係とかマップの広さの関係とかあるんじゃないかな新しいマップ出たらいいのにねってみんな言ってるよねプロの人たちは競技マップ出たらいいのにねランボーじゃないんかなでもなんか昨日さ豆さんランビューって言ってたじゃん読みちゃんとした読み方がランビューなのかまたランビューさんとランボーさんがいるのか分からんけどでもなんかランボーが巻いたチームの名前出してた気がしたからランボーのことかなと思ってたんだけどランボーさんだと思いますあれ大会専用マップそうそのこのALGS とかで使うよみたいなマップができたらいいよねっていう話を日本のプロたちは結構なんかランクしてる時とかみんな言ってる
Climbing on the other side of things as we start a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. No teams down quite yet in North
みんなって
America,
言
but
っ
you
た
can
らちょ
tell
っと声で
nobody
か
is afraid
主語でかで
to
か
take
す
a
ぎるか
fight
もしれ
here.
んけど結構なんかそういうマップできてもいいかなみたいなTSM メンバー一人ちゃうくないさっきレックスじゃない人いるから M なんちゃらなんちゃらこっちなんかあったのかなほらほら
TSM in a low harvester spot, which is a great place to hold.
あほらこれランビューランボー
Access to be able to hit that choke before, and a lot of
そう
teams
写真が写ってくれんからわからん
from either a southern or an eastern side, you'll be able to have some decent KP opportunities on their rotation as well. So Sentinels, skyward dive just to the high ground, taking advantage of Keon and the Watson perimeter security.
ランドマークが
Giving them a
20
little
あれ
bit
ば
of
平
space
和
on
なん
the
よまず
outskirts for them to try to stabilize, hit some repeater shots, and get those whites up to blues. You can't imagine, Vicky,
プレイオフでフローラとさどこだっけなんか戦ってたんじゃん一生
and you're down, so you
あれ
gotta
がな
get
くな
those
るよ
up
ね
as soon as possible, especially if you're playing an open land there with not a lot of easy loot.
Yeah, that's why you see sometimes, depending on the circle too, you see some teams
Dark
not only take
Zero.
their time depending on their composition, but take advantage of the replicators. Just use replicators to boost up their Evo shields while they make the rotation in. I'm the one team that I could think of.
マンバって人いるこの
Complexity,
手前の
that's
チー
probably
ム
going to take their time to rotate in and away from
ラマン
Climatizer.
バ
Now, as we do see the circle closing in, Dark Zero still on the high ground right now. Gonna be sharing
こ
some
ちらは
of
ジ
the
ェンバー
space
店がいらっ
of
しゃいま
Harvester.
す。
We just saw Sentinels here earlier on. They made their quick rotation with the
アライアン
Skyward
ス
Dive. We saw TSM right
アライアン
underneath
ス
Dark Zero at one point. This is probably the
あ
team
アラ
that
イアン
Skyward
スと
Dive
取るや
right
つだっ
on
け
top of this
あ
hilltop
ー
originally when Sentinels saw them.
そうだからランドマークが20個あれ
Two
ば
time winners out of the last three. Dark Zero
ランドマーク争い
disappointed
は
to
な
not
いわけですよ。
have gotten the match point to have a chance to compete in London. They'll be looking to get that same opportunity again. It'll take a big season, but feels like they've gotten their feet wet in terms of what North America brings to the table. It was a late qualification, actually, a final day qualification that allowed them to even make it to London, which would have been a true disaster for a team that fully relocated all of their members across the world to play in a different region. But now a better day for Dark
な
Zero.
んだ今の金
See what they can pull together.
Well, you're bringing me back out here, Rain. Just thinking about that final game that they ended up winning. So just to qualify was absolutely insane.
Close.
Gotta see what they could bring out here for Split 2. Want to be a little bit more comfy
What
without
was it?
playing on the
待って。
edge, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to qualifications.
I think that's the big thing they've got to bring to the table.
カーテン
now,
の
just
ほんのちょっ
getting
との
to the
隙間
place
から
where
太
they
陽
know
が
how
俺を
bad
刺
that
した。
felt. I'm sure that was not a fun way to qualify.
お、
and
み
they-
と
they've
ちさんお
got
はようご
to
ざい
have
ます
some urgency in the first
お
half
はようござい
of
ま
the
す
split, which it felt like they didn't, but for good
お
reason.
は
I
お
mean,
は
it's
よう
a
ござ
totally
い
different
ます
challenge, quality of play across all 10 teams, all
ほら
20,
ス
all
リーピーパンダ
32.
じゃないこれ
It's going to be better in North America. You're going to still have some incredible
眠たい
performers,
パンダ
but
おるで
it's not going to be all the way down to the bottom.
こ
And
れ
I
日
think that's
本
what
で
Dark
も
Zero were just getting
覚えら
used
れ
to
ます
every
この
lobby.
選手
So threatening and really having to earn their stripes, which
あ
they did.
スリーピーパンダ
Team Diverge as
可
well.
愛くない
Second place in game number 1. Can they keep that up? They're in a little bit of a poking battle with the team outside of the tunnel.
みとちさんは多分チャンリオ
But
さ
so
んと
far
こ
they're
の
holding the zone, so that team's going to have to move either through them or around them.
Oh, look at the
モ
teams
モデ
that
ラ
are
モデ
taking their time.
あ
We
じゃあ
talked
モデ
about them
モ
just
デ
briefly.
モデ
Soon
モデの
Vehicle,
方
they're going to be able to take advantage of the replicator, get all the
かな
meds they want, boost up their evil shield if
かな
they haven't already. They put some damage on earlier when they tried a third party.
モデレーターそう
CCE
そうそう
versus phase fight off the rip and climatizer. They're going to start making their rotation now. They have the jump tower right next to
名
them.
前
and
かわい
the
い
circle is
そう
right there as
名前
well.
か
So
わ
it's
いいから
not like they
覚えら
have
れ
to
るよ
use
な
too much of their meds that they just crafted up. I also really like how you highlighted Team
モン
Diverge.
スーン
Sleepy Panda coming
モン
out
スーンっ
in
て
second place as a
嵐
solo. Nobody could
台
push
風
Sleepy Panda because of his
モンスーン
positioning
って
inside one of those
なんだっ
open
け
crates where it would have left you open. But still, even though they got
いや
one
なんかさかっこい
KP,
い名前いっぱいある
that's
から
the
ガル
power
も
of
ちょっと
just
今度かっ
staying
こよく
at
しよ
the
う
very end
か
of
っ
the
こよく
games
し
to
てよ
get
な
those
名前
placement
な
points to multiply the KP that you could even get. Complexity,
エ
another
ペック
team
スして
right
る
now.
時に
Looking
シ
to
オ
make
ガ
a
ルを
comeback
隠しめっ
after a
ちゃかっ
rather
けえ名前でやりたい
lackluster
わ
first game. It was just the first game, but they got 12. Able to obtain 2 KP
あそう
to
です
their name after that 50-50 drop. Optic Gaming
察
also
し
making
察
the
しました
rotation into this next circle right now.
なんか
Out
フォ
of
ロ
that
ーしてくれた
circle,
タイミング
they're
と
trying
か
to
い
see
ろい
where
ろで
everybody else is here.
ありがとうございます本当に
Optic Gaming,
あ
as
こ
they
れ昨
land,
日ね
hopefully
ガルた
landing
ちは死ん
safely.
この側面の時
What
に
does
ね
last
死ん
season
だ
hold for them? What was the
いい
record?
カー
Well,
テン
no other way to describe it. A
That's
team
it.
that we thought was one of the best in the world did not show up, did not
いや
really play a part in London. But I think that's a great opportunity for them to reassess and
ー
readjust.
オーケーロム
They
さん
got
こんが
a
れ
drop
るおはよう
in place of dupe. And although the crowd chants, we'll always miss the big dupe.
え
It seems like this
セー
may
フ
be a new sign of life for
季節風
Optic Vicky. Just
へえ
truly a make or break
Monsoon.
season for this squad, and I think they're leaning towards May.
あ
Especially
嵐
with
と
the
とか
talent
台
on this
風は
squad.
なん
We
だっけ
already
違
know
う
they
わ
can do it. It's
え
just
っと
about
ね
can they find the synergy and the
台
consistency
風
now.
か私は分かる分かる分かんない分かる
They're
Well,
playing
no,
to
no.
their strengths here at least right now, especially looking at the way they played game number 1, bunkered down inside of that room.
メモ
You can see
メ
them
モ
just
す
trying to
るか
replicate that here inside of this
いろ
building,
いろ
predicting where the circle is going to be
勉
pulling.
強会し
I
よ
was wondering
一人で
if a squad already had made their way
ごちそ
onto
う
the
さま
high
でし
ground
た
above that tunnel. I think that's going to be a very good spot for this circle. It could also allow you to have good 50-50 rotation options. It's that tunnel area where you're on the high ground, exiting out of the choke point from staging. It's going to get contested soon here as we actually get to see a fight happening over to the side of Harvester right now. It's going to be AJC.
Not sure who got that scan. Someone nearby
競
though.
技ファンらしいことしとくわ
Probably not these two teams fighting, I'll tell you that. So they're going to know exactly where the clump is. Third party in the mix? We don't know. Not Nuts goes down.
ダウン
Might be another one falling soon. Go. Teammate running out. They're going to make it. Dark Zero on the top. Peppering shots And over on the high ground, you're going to see Impulse, Sorcerer, holding that too. So, still a big standoff here. 19 squads left. Moving a lot slower, a lot more cautiously, Vicky, here in game 2.
Yeah, AJC calling off, actually trying to get involved in that fight. Yes, they lost out on a teammate, but they're trying to patiently wait over on the other side when they smell the third party moving in. Dark Zero on the other side where CLG is sitting inside of the building.
いやなんかさ、競技シーンとの言いつつ、結構のほほんと見てる派なので、もうちょい知識つけた方がいいかなと思った最近。
If they did, a lot of these teams on the north side of this next circle are trying to take advantage of approaching thermal station from the high ground. So it's going to look like a bloodbath soon, exiting out of staging into that choke point where a lot of teams are going to eventually meet up.
Jinbert and Sharky and Zero now all on blues. But you're right, it's going to be a meetup.
これが何かの糧となる日が来るかもしれないからな。
By necessity. Hopefully they can choose their own terms on how they show up. Whether a little bit late to the party, or maybe a little bit early. Seems like Dark Zero just scanning out, trying to figure out the best way to go. Really, the one who was touted the best IGL in the world for 2 tournaments in a row, claimed nearly half a year until we had a chance to prove it again. I think that's got to go to Hal now. He's up against Hal and Sweet in this lobby. So Zero's another opportunity to prove himself and his stuff. CCE holding on. Wow. Gonna make it though, but gonna be a solo for the rest of the game. This is gonna be a tough one to get some points with still 19 squads left, Vicky.
Look, sometimes you have to pretend like you're a cat. You got 9 lives out here, and that's what Sauce is trying to do right now, as he's trying to stay alive for the rest of CCE after they lost themselves in that 50-50 against FaZe. As we tune into FaZe, we know how many teams are already here. We talked about it. We talked about the congestion on that northern side of thermal station. Circle's going to be continuously pulled down, so FaZe finds some time to breathe for now. But pulling up the low ground is going to be scary when you don't have a horizon to lift you up into the high ground. You don't have the skyward dive, but you're going to be in the line of sight of a lot of other teams, even if the wall goes up for the catalyst.
Yeah, that is going to be the question here. Maybe hoping it's not going to be as congested where they are at round 3, round 4, where they're going to have to do it. It is a tough bet, though. You're right. They don't have that early mobility. And you can see a little bit of what Catalyst brings to the table. Nice avoidance there from Sharky of the Seer Q. Just canceled it for a bit, but would have been a little bit annoying as well. And that wall just meaning we can get some free rotation, free safety, and then we're going to skyward dive. Where are they going to land, though? Up goes Dark Zero. And where's Zero making the call? Jinbert and Sharky trying to find a safe spot. That is exactly where we saw FaZe. But they're going to land kind of in between this little donut here, the top and the bottom. It's a safe spot to hold for now.
Oh,
maybe man, right here, Vicky, they'll stabilize.
Everywhere. Yeah, they're getting pinged everywhere. The arc starting out getting tossed in the corner by Zero. He just popped that shield. He's got to pop another one right now. Optic also going crazy in the feed, fighting off, getting that knock on to Protectful. Wondering where they found some time to breathe, if they were actually still inside of that building to the left side of Thermal Station. But Dark Zero seeing other teams now right below them that maybe trying to rotate out of this entire chaos.
なんか日本でもあんま見えないから、なんかやっぱこっちはそうなんだって感じな。なんか先取りしてる感じあるもんな。
It's a great point you bring. It's like that skyward diver used to, you know, it's not safe or the angle. It's like, no, you can't wall in front of it, and that would allow them to find a little bit of wiggle room and probably not be the focus of attention because yes, you could shoot through the wall. There's going to be other people around you. There's going to be more secure priorities for KP or just more problematic teams. So it's something Dark Zero can do in a pinch. How are they on the ultimate? Now on that Valk ult should be charged up by the time they need it, if they do need it. Not nuts up on top as a solo. There's the catalyst wall as well.
ニューキャッスルちゃんと入れたりしてたのもこっちの地域の人たち多かったし、そんなニューキャッスルそんな多くないかけどなんか
I mean, basically what Bangalore could do when you hide behind those smoke grenades, but still finding the
何言おうとしたか忘れたわ。
Seer attack. This is why we see Seer so much now that there's a lobby ridden of these catalysts. You're still going to be able to get the information right through that wall.
But I think that's expensive too on the side of Snipe Down and FaZe because they've had to use that. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, when you consider the fact that there are going to be ultimates.
そうそうチャレンジ選手そうそうそうそうそうそうそれ採用この言葉採用です。現状維持よりちょっとやってみるか精神。
And you know it's about to be round 4 closing. That means a lot of squads are about to die very soon.
This is the chaos on the north side of the circle where we were expecting even that high ground that we mentioned earlier before on the top of that train tracks is still available in that next circle. These rotations now as Drug Free are looking to clean up the KP while they circle keep this squad right between the G7 and the Nemesis doing the D, taking care of Jen. AJC get eliminated.
Drug Free already popping off here. Game 2. First place already. A couple of other kills. That's Zero. Drug Free take out. APEX South now North America's second most land winning team. As they continue to put on a show here, a clinic in the first couple of games. We did not expect this, but Drug Free making us say their names as we head into 17 squads, now 10, Vicky, in a matter of like 45 seconds.
This is insane. The action between the north side now as Drug Free makes their way in. TSM got taken down. We saw what happened to NRG. Now we have 100 Thieves playing off the low ground of this building. And look at this chaos. Optic Gaming made the rotate outside of the building from the west side of the battle station. Now the underside of where these zip lines are. You see Naughty now playing off the high ground. Optic Gaming necessary through these smokes.
Oh, and it's just 2 of them from land, but they're making so much work done with 2 players only.
Meちゃめちゃ怖いね。
Coming in and taking
やめてください。
down
本当に
that will relieve
勘弁してください。
Join
ナイス。
the team and for a good reason. Takes him down, dropped, finds Naughty. That was the end of land up on top, and maybe there's something special here. Dropped, checking his 6, his 9, his 12, his 3, everything. And now trying to figure out if he has time to be able to get up his team.
Is that bullet playing off the lip of the rock like Skyrim goat climbing over to the side of the mountain?
めっちゃ落とされてない？あ、じゃあさっき落とした側か。やられ。やられみたいなこと。やめてください。オンム覚えてよからちょっと。
Yeah, better play though. I think just get the shield swap. You don't have to hit a shield battery. See what else you can do. You were lost. They had high ground on you and low ground, and there was a seer above you for sure. What can Vaxlon and Onmu do? 100 Thieves had a bit of a rough go over the last couple of months, trying to get back to winning form, that top 5 kind of form that they were in at the championship last year. Big shot there. Will eliminate Native Gaming, earn them an extra point. 7 on the board for 100 Thieves. No chance it seems like to get a mobile respawn. So what do? Get a little aggressive here, going to high ground. Vaxlon taking the top of the building. He's going to try to pressure this. Oh my God.
They found the trade between Bullet here too. That means MLS, Optic Gaming, they are out of here. That was actually insane over on the underside of where 100 Thieves now is holding the high ground on top of this building. Vaxlon saw that one team climb over the fence and said, nope, I'm flying all the way to the top of this roof right now. You can't force me out of here. It's Impulse, Asura, and Saucer on the low ground. Sharing that though in the building right next to GE is going to be FaZe.
Yeah, big time stuff from FaZe. Big time stuff from Drug Free, who are 4 other teams away from being back-to-back winners in the opening day of North America. But 100 Thieves staying up on that high ground. It's going to be a tough team to fight. It's going to be a team most players don't want to fight. Most players can't really fight. I don't know how many horizons are left here. But the only way that's going to get them up to that height without getting shot by the other teams is going to either be a Valkyrie Scout or die, which may be beneficial to buy some time, or it's going to be a Horizon. I don't think these squads have that second option, so they're just going to have to fight what's in front of them. 100 Thieves could skate away. We'll see. Drug Free looking to make it 2. Saucerer goes down. Will this be Drug Free going back to back Let's bet on the Cinderella story and see if they can do it. Let's go to a listen in.
板倉おる
WD Black. See if Doug.
アラブのアブラブルアルブラリリ
You
ー
can
な
slide right there. I have smoke and
Just
four.
right under here. Just right under
Okay,
here.
and okay.
Keep smoking our feet. There's
あ
too
の
many
アラ
holes
ブ
in
のアブラウ
No,
ル
no, they're on the other roof.
アブラウリ
Are you sure?
みたいな
Yes, I just saw
早
them.
口
I
言葉があ
just
る
saw them.
this. No one on our side. They're all on.
We need to get out from underneath that thing. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna slide on the right side, and I'm gonna digi, and that's all we're gonna do. Okay.
In the store. Yep. I only have.
I have my own. Look, cat,
あ
cat,
板倉って
cat broken.
インパルスのかないや今インパルスが見えて
There's a cat thing on me. Right
桜のことかなと思った
Oh, it's in the door.
Can we swing to
インパルスのもう一人が思い出
Right
せない
here, on me.
てかこのチームさっき勝ったとこだよ
We
ね
can shoot these kids through the. Look, there's a crack. If they swing, we can shoot them through the crack.
Yeah.
I have Bengal.
Did you guys swing the backside?
What do you think about if I smoke this and we play that?
You might
I
want
don't
to
know.
smoke and play out there later. Yeah.
なんちゃらいっぱいだーっつ
There's
った
a team
今
on the other side of this.
Nades.
I'm ulting. I'm
いやいや
Bengal.
いやしんどいね
Nades.
しんどいな
Got the battle.
I can't smoke. I can't. No smoke.
Just
Drop
kill
there.
left, kill left.
Just shoot everything left. Shoot
Oh, yeah,
everything
no,
left. They have to drop on us.
Above, look above!
マジで2連チャンピオンま
Let's fucking go. Our macro is on fucking point.
あ包みしたそう包みしたらスカジーが出てきてしまった2連チャンピオン
That
熱
is how you do it. Back to back for drug free. Oh my God. North America, wake up. Drug
Oh
free is here.
my god
Drug free? I love
真ん中の人だけさなんか美しく映る白いライトをガンガン当ててそうだよね一人だけ部屋の感じが美しい
Tiff, what you see here, drug free go back to back. I'm sure you were just as shocked
あんな
and
髪色になり
impressed
てえ
with
が
what
る
they're
る
putting
も
together.
夏さん2連チャンピオンまですまです
It in my mouth just
ドラッ
dropped.
グフリーってと
They
こ
were
2連チャン
hugging
ピオン
that
ですね
doorway. You hear the comms
Oh
come
my
in. They
God,
want to
look
play underneath that underhang. I'm looking in the Prowler. It's got 45
強すぎる
rounds of ammo total left in it, and I'm just like, they're about to swing it. This is their only option. You heard him.
すごいね
They're gonna die to nades, so they preemptively start batting through the onslaught, and you see the arc star. You see the frag. They have the ring
な
at
ん
their
か
back. There's
カタリ
nowhere
ス
to
ト
go.
シア
100
バル
thieves
が
on the
多い
roof,
ですよ
and
ね
my
ーっ
heart
ていう
is in my
感じ
mouth. But
な
who would have
一旦
thought drug free? Back to back winners. Macro on point, baby. Macro on point.
Macro on point, but it's more
歯
than
が白い
that. It's the fact that they are playing these moments so perfectly
怒ってる
from,
人みたい
from
な
a
やったね
micro perspective too. You even talked about it. Preemptively going into the shield batteries, waiting patiently. I looked at that position that they were in and I thought they're not necessarily in
全部
any
カタリ
specific
スト
advantage
シア
on
い
the
るくない
outside of that building. Either one of those teams, especially on the outside that they were facing, could swing them, could push them, could nade them. The team inside obviously had to go outside, but they could have decided to go and fight the team to their right, which was drug free. And 100 Thieves as well. They could have just said, hey, we're not going to win this game, so let's just fire down. Let's try to grief somebody. But everyone took the perfect position, Vicky. And as we head back into these highlights, just walk me through your reaction to game 2
マジで
and all
全
the
部いない
moments that happened to get us there.
今んとこ
I
ド
mean,
ラッグフ
from
リ
the
ーがいる
moment
そう
where they were gatekeeping the squads, rotating from the north side outside of staging through that choke point into making their way into that building, that was insane gameplay from Drug Free. I think they finished that game with 13 KP to their name. Talk about a huge gap after taking 2 dubs back to back. Playing up the corner of the house with 100 Thieves on the high ground like what Tiff was talking about before. They just dropped in front of them, just basically served themselves on a silver platter for Drug Free to just basically finish off. That was insane play from Drug Free, and they are reaping the benefits from it. 2 games down on World Edge, 1 more to go.
Well, let's take a look at that final circle more in
カタリ
depth.
ストシ
And
ア
I
バ
want
ル
Tiff, because you
バ
were there
バ
with
ル
us
な
on the
バル
cast to go through this in your eyes. What do you see here?
All right, let's do it. Here it is, right? They're just hugging that side of the building, sitting on triple red. Two members of 100 Thieves because they lost out on Scurry early on. FaZe is playing that upper side of the building, and Glitch Energy kind of just operating on the other side of that veil. The focus of attention going in constantly on to Drug Free, throwing out that information. And then you have the onslaught of everything that GE is doing to kind of really punish Drug Free. Now, you thought they were going to die, they thought they were going to die, but it's the Bangalore smoke met with the combination of the Digi threat. And look at the ammo count. 20 bullets left on that reload. Sure, you've got plenty here for the G7 Scout, but it was very dynamic. They talked about their
very dynamic らしいです。
beautiful as well, but this team, mind
スタ
you,
リストなんでしたろうね
came in
な
from the split two qualifiers.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I mean, it's unbelievable, but I
あ、
gotta
で
say,
もアンチ読めるか
I
らじ
know
ゃ
we're
ない
not gonna run it back.
そもそ
But
も
if you play it back yourself, look at the reason they didn't push, because there's a moment you're looking at that widescreen, you're going, why is Glitch Energy not just pushing ahead of them towards basically the kind of already poking
だからや
out
っぱ
Drug Free. There's
デ
a
トネーションは
thermite in the middle of
先
that
端を
doorway
最
that they
先端を行ってた
cannot
って
get
ことだ
over,
ね。
and they would have to go outside of the overhang
あ、
and
そう、
wrap
その
around,
話
and
をした
that's
かった。
just
次
because
元
it's
さ
just
ん
two teams
さ
there and a team above.
休止するじゃん。
Finding
っ
that thermite
て
single-handedly
こと
was
は
what
フェ
bought
ン
them
ネルの
enough
2人
time
とやらないっ
for
てことだ
Glitch
よね。
Energy to then have to make a different decision, try to find somebody else
な
in
んか
face
フェ
to
ン
try
ネ
to
ルの
fight
2人
Glitch
とやる
Energy.
みたい
I
な。
think that was massive. Let's take a look at the results though, because this is such an interesting start to North America. No one had this on their bingo
噂が
card.
出て
I
ますよ
guarantee
ね。
it. Drug free back to back. Okay, with this type of lobby. But now, back to back to back, I'm sure a lot of people are starting to go that way because they are playing phenomenally. 25
そうそうそう、クラス分けマップ読むのが右下のカタリストガスあちょんランパートとかだっけ。カラさんが強いって思う選手おる。いや、彼ら申し訳ないですけど、外国の選手、本当に有名な強い人たちしか知らなくて。無名、なんか、この人まだ有名じゃないけど目つけてますとかはないですから。有名どころしか知らないです。NRG、TSM、ダークゼロ、オプティック、100テとか、ね、スナイプとか、アルブラレイとかなんかそういう有名人しか知らないんで。マガルはこっちだったらちょっとインペリアルハル推しですかね。NA だと。そうそう、ガス入れてとか言った。まあガスは普通に入れててもいいんだろうけど、まあアンチ読めるし、一石二鳥みたいなとこあるな。採用理由どうなんだろうね。でもガスまあ移動にも使えるしな、ワンチャン。カタリスト。わからん、ちょっとガルルみたいな弱小がわからんね。あの4体ならカタリストかなって思うよね。
games that we've had on World's Edge, but 43 points, what a gap for Drug Free and the rest of this lobby.
ガスは今まで通り、まあ一定数いるんだろうけどみたいな。
I love it. I love to see it. I mean, we've been talking about
そう
raising the
コモリにも
bar
使えるけど、
and bringing in new, I'm not gonna say new
カー
talent
テン
because
が
I
な。
know for a fact they've been around for a while and they're just making their way. But
ちょっと違うもん
coming
な。
in from the Split 2 qualifiers and coming to win your first two maps here in Split 2 Pro League, it's just showing that people are taking
ダークゼロと
inspiration
TSM
from
が
one of the
結構
powerhouse
下だね。
teams here in NA and just really trying
では、
to
なんで
be
部屋がじゃない。
tactful.
Yeah,
They want to make a statement. They want to show that they know
カーテンに
that they
移動で
can
きるからな、あ
compete
れ。
with the best. And by doing it back to back in map wins, you are showing we're not here just for like
なんかそのアクティブな方
I don't know,
じゃ
to
ない
be
な
your
んか、
KP. We're
なんていう
here
の
to essentially eliminate you.
ワッチョンガスは移動中とか何もできんけど、
Yeah, exactly.
動き続けられる防衛キャラって感じよね。
Their backing of their play to what they're trying to
なん
do
か言ってる意味わ
and
からん
how
からなんかわ
they're
からんけど。
manipulating this lobby with their macro play to end up in these
そう
great
ウル
positions
トも
in the
ね、
top five. it's really a masterclass, and I think this is one of the things that can happen
ウルト
when you have a
も
new season, and especially when you have a new
ホライ
team.
ゾンいたら
People aren't prepared for this team to
意味な
make
いけど、今
waves
ホ
the
ラ
way
イゾン
that
いない
they
から余
are.
計に刺
They
さるよね。
probably know they're good players, but they're not expecting this. Secondly, there's a lot of room for a meta adjustment to happen and catch you off guard. I was kind of
レッス
setting
ンす
this
る
up
と
for
ワークアウト
tomorrow
の重
too.
要性や
You know, we have
重要
teams
度
that
上がり
have
そう。
taken the world by storm, whether it's Alliance and IPN starting that
ラン
caustic
パート
meta.
が
I
いな
shared
きゃ
the
みたい
mention
な。
earlier,
ランパー
starting that
ト
Bangalore meta
なん
in
かある
playoffs
か
and
な。
coming in a top 3
シエ
position
ラに乗っ
earlier
て移
on
動
a
でき
year
るみ
ago.
たい
We
な
have
がない
Furia
と無理
bringing
なやつよ
in
ね。
the Seer and
ホ
the
ライゾンを入
Horizon
れて
and
んの
this
は TSM
Bangalore
だね、今ん
heavy
とこ。
hitting no Gibby composition during the Gibby meta.
余
All of
計に
these
刺さるよ
things
ね。刺さるっ
kind
ていう
of
か、
caught
その
people
もう
off
なん
guard.
か
So
みん
maybe
な
there's something here that Drug Free are putting together. Big statement early, I know, Vicky, but the idea that maybe they're on
そう
to
そうそう、
something.
シエラ
Other
に下
players
に
are going to eventually
つけ
consider
て、
what is the standard
銃発射したら
go-to way
進
to
むみ
win
たい
games
な。
in season 16.
I mean, it's a consistency of the same comp that we also got to see in EMEA.
シーラが
Drug Free
シー
rocking
ラ
the
で撃ったら
Bangalore,
進
the
むみたいな。
Valkyrie,
おー、い
and
な
the
くなったよ、
Seer
一人
and。finding so much success with it. But it's not
ディス
just
ゲーム
that,
が
it's
始まっ
their
た。
positioning for these next circles. While
シーラ
Ray
と
J
ト
takes
ライ
a
ドに
little
する
bit of a
と
break, I'm going to be
戦車に
joined
する。
with Tiffany once again, reunited for game number 3 Tiff, our final game
シー
on
ラを
World's
後ろに打った
Edge.
ハンドリーをするのさ。
Look, can Drug Free run it back and take on
そうだ
another
か
victory?
ら
I think that would
そうだ
just
ね。
be such an insane day for them, right? You come in to split two, you show up on Saturday, you get to essentially just show out what you've got, and then we get to go again and
ホ
see
ライ
A
ゾン
versus
い
E
たら
tomorrow. What an
さ
action-packed weekend.
カ
And
ーテン乗り越え
typically
て
there's a
よいし
couple
ょ
days
なんだ
in
けど
between each match day, so you
ホライ
don't
ゾンいない
really
からみ
get
ん
a
な
lot of
カーテン
time
で
to
きたら
go
もうなん
back
か落ち
now,
着くよな。
moving into tomorrow, at least for Group A that is. And I mean, look,
だったら
I'm
口
sitting
と言い
here
続けそう
wondering
そう
what
そ
is
うそう
going on with NA, and nothing's going on. People would immediately look at it and be like,
そ
why
んぐらいあ
TSM
ってもいいん
not
じゃないです
doing
かランパー
first
トは。
place? Why NRG not top 3? They're washed. No, please.
この女の
They
人も
are
多分今
not
同じこと言っ
washed
て
in
るで。
any way, shape, or form. Like, I just know that's exactly, I can only imagine what people are saying, but just not true. Not true in any way, shape, or form. Big E took a cold shower today and ate healthy. We know he's going to come in clutch later.
Big E, I love how he preaches about mental health and about just being healthy all around to keep his mental in check for him to be a better player. But right now, Drug Free is taking a page out of their own book with the way that they're also playing this.
言ってない
This
言ってないか
has been very
言
interesting
ってない
first
か
two games so far. We
そう
got
か
one more on World's Edge before
お
we
つよつ
transition
さんおは
on to
よう
Storm
楽しみま
Point
し
where
ょう
we
マ
can
ッ
see
チ
some
リ開
composition
始で
swap
す
ups real quick here. But we still got World's Edge to go through. I like what we've been seeing
これ
in
3マッチが
terms of
次
the
のマッチ
different
からは
costs though, Tiff. I talked about this
そこ
with
かな
Rain. We're seeing a lot more Wraith here in NA versus what we witnessed in EMEA earlier on today.
シーラって車乗ってたけど打てないね
Rocking the
ウル
Loba
ト
from NRG.
構えられな
The
くない
only Loba that we've been seeing in the lobby so
どの
far.
キャラも
A lot of change-ups too. We had seen a Caustic come out from Mamba. I wouldn't be surprised if CLG still
ペ
sticks
ットドローン
to
のメイ
that
ンシーラ打てる
composition
な
pick, but it's about the cost, or rather not the
あ
cost,
そ
but
ん
the
なんあったっ
catalyst
け
and the Bangalore kind of making the rotation through these teams.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point. Loba currently sitting at a 1.67% pick rate on the Legend for
ドラッグ
the
フ
day
リーが
alone in
2 連
NA. It's
チャ
like
ン
a
ピオンして
2-time
ますと
pick, so that was only for like I guess the first 2 games. Caustic boasting about the same as well, but it's Seer, 25% on that Legend pick rate. What insanity. I mean, we knew we were going to see that coming into NA. It was who was going to join Seer on this journey. We saw a lot of different things over in EMEA, but you're right. Wraith, 7.5%, a lot more than I thought, but let's go ahead, run it back. We know FaZe and CCE are contesting it out over here at Climatizer, but we can't let this go on very long because we know Complexity lands Survey and Epicenter and has been
フェーズと
increasingly poking around.
CC
You know they're
だっ
rubbing their
け
hands together, just waiting for the opportunity
Dame
to
te
strike and
kudasai.
feast down on this third party. But I like the way that FaZe and CCE also played this, the way that they also disengage. We saw the rat from CCE live for as long as they possibly could out here. Sasa's FaZe are just going to be able to rotate onto the off of the high ground. They heard them coming in, and
そ
they're
うか
going
ら
to
カ
catch
タ
them
リスト
off guard.
使うか
They thought they could get on the gravity lift, but no way as FaZe has other plans. They lose out on Phony, but they have the number advantage.
うん
Ooh, the hip fire from the
言うとる
Nemesis is absolutely disgusting. That
Nemesis.
4-round burst can deal immense damage. Now
漫
the
画
reset
採
coming in
用
here for
は
FaZe
てか今カタリストシアですねほとんどのパーティーが
on the day thus far, just after 2 games. It's just kind of
ドラッグフリー
interesting
は
to see
使っ
with
てなか
Drug
ったけ
Free
ど
boasting 220 point plus back-to-back games.
CC
The
版が
kind of differential
出
that
なかっ
they
たな
pulled on the rest of the lobby. They just need to be consistent throughout the rest of the day, and they'll find themselves in the top 3.
That's what I was saying
そう
before
そう
we transition
そ
onto
う。でも
Storm
ゾーン
Point
入
too,
れ
because
て
we
ん
can
のは
see the
今んとこ
difference between
TSM
the comfort that World's Edge brings for some of these teams, the
か
comfort that
な。
Storm Point instead brings for some of these teams, especially depending on where their POI is. If they have a Valkyrie rotating from the north side of Storm Point.
ドローンの上にしてる
Now
の
as we take a look at
それと
FaZe,
ラ
they
ンパ
have
ート。
some room to breathe. Complexity not rotating in.
そ
They
れ
know that that
い
fight
つでも
ended
できるよう
way
にした
quicker
ら
than they were expecting, so they're not even gonna
空
waste their time
中
right now. They're just gonna end up
からな
bleeding
んか
not
打っ
just
て
the
くる
rest
や
of
つお
Epi,
る
but
と思ったら
Survey
ラン
as
パー
well.
ト。
There's usually a replicator by Survey, so they can take advantage of that since Complexity is usually one of those teams that like to take their time and play by the edge. But if we could get an overlook on where this next circle is going to be moving, we saw one pull all the way close to overlook by the rocks on the train track south of Epi. We saw one pull all the way to the west, and we are going to be getting an interesting circle out here. Actually, that choke point that TSM's already rotating towards, and by Lava Siphon is going to get contested quick out here. You can see TSM actually already in an engagement.
Yo,
さすがに
if we
フ
get
ラ
a
グメントだ
fragment
な。
ending, Vicky, I'm gonna be
ザコ集
losing
落
it
の方
because
かな。
those can be so exciting. You see the
生
Sentinels
山の
just
方
on
か
the
な。
outskirts of
生山の
Overlook
方
making
か。
their way
い
in.
や、
And
わ
you're
かんね
right, TSM just on the fresh outside. And I see a Gibby bubble in the distance. Let me just tell you, NA is a hotbed of activity, whether they can decide on what they want to play. We're gonna see a lot of shifts moving forward after just this first match day.
It's CLG. It has to be CLG. This is also the same squad running Caustic. I feel like we're taking the time chamber just all the way back, taking the time machine all the way back into town as TSM are rotating away from this. It smells like home watching the circle pull towards Frag East, but they have other plans to play on the outside of No Name right now. I believe we did see another team in the area right here, but Burhos gets caught in the middle of this rotation, losing out on their horizon right now. TSM forced to play the inside of this building.
Yo, and that was a rogue charge rifle at the hands of Sweet from NRG. So that's kind of tough, right? That's going to force TSM to have to spend a lot of their time that they want to be utilizing for rotation or kind of taking these fights and getting the KP, but going ahead and prioritizing that res onto Verholst. Now, granted, that double time is going to kick in at the hands of Bangalore's passive and really help Hal get to cover. They do have the beacon available to them to hit the res for Verholst. The issue is it's going to draw so much attention because we already know 90% of the teams are trying to move into this kind of area of the zone.
And the macro right there too. I really like watching the decision making from these pros. How often to pop the shield bat and not exposing himself, even if he's feeling on the edge real quick, trying to get his way inside of this building with reps. Reps could take some suppressed fire shots through that window, but they're playing that lip of that little hill, opting to go on the other side to get right back into the safety of this building. Hal says, don't worry, I'll be able to try to loot up as much as we can. He gets pinged by the other squad still behind him. So many teams already in this no-name area to the southwest side of Overlook right now. Dark Zero, though, taking their time out of Fragment. This could end up biting them in the behind, actually, if they're not careful with their rotate, especially with so many squads already holding on to that open field between Fragment East and that no-name spot.
Yeah, this is really tough for Dark Zero. I mean, they're on your screen right now, but thinking back to when Meat, they were landing Dome. And so now they had decided to actually land over in Fragment as well, forcing Dark Zero to essentially split it. So you get half the loot. Now, granted, they're pretty kitted out. They've got a nice Nemesis, all great shields. But as the teams are making their way in, they have to fight it out. EMP coming in, and it looked like Jen Burton was about to bring out the Dark Veil until that EMP connected.
I was gonna say, Meat Lovers is one of the squads rocking the crypto. We saw them before with the Mad Maggie. They see the pings off the Thermite too. It's gonna be able to attack on some extra damage. Another squad in the distance is trying to take some shots at them though, so they're just gonna disengage, wait out to see where the other teams are right in front of them.
Funk on the
Oh,
Wraith.
ここもなんか全然違
Do love
うあれ
seeing
だ
the
ね。
Wraith kind of making their way back into the competitive Legends here, but I'm just kind of thinking, is it going to stick, right? A lot of people were asking about the Catalyst Seer. Is that going to stick? Because it seems like it's such a powerful thing. And then you look at a lot of these Legend compositions, such as Meat Lovers, Crypto, Wraith, Mad Maggie. I mean, you think of the Assault characters and you have to kind of garner whether the Skirmishers as well. Is it meant for the team? We know Wraith can be so strong in those end games and trying to help you navigate with that portal, at least getting the double distance. And the riot drill from the Mad Maggie can really punish people inside of buildings of where you want. But look at Jen Burton utilizing the Catalyst tacticals on the piercing spikes, just laying them across the floor. You have to destroy those before you can even try to get through them. But I mean, that's just one rogue, 2 rogue grenades in there in a corner, and they're gonna take damage.
There is action happening over on the other side between 100 Thieves and NRG. It looked like on the other side with Optic Gaming maybe getting involved in that fight by Overlook, but a lot of action also happening over by the east side. Here we go. Vaxon literally won. Is he going to be able to survive through the missile swarm? Okay, he does. The spikes on the floor, probably some scurry right there to deny entry from the zipline, but is that going to be enough? Look at Vaxon looking down to avoid getting headshotted too. Playing right behind these knockdown shields from his fallen teammates. He goes for the res. Can he pull it off? You see the missile storm again. Complexity may not be able to push this. Yeah, they could cancel it, but now they have to wait on the cooldown to cancel it again. Vaxon's just gonna heal up again. It's like they're rotating through the missile storm and the sear attack.
Oh, this is not going to be good. I mean, you see the incoming charge rifles. Complexity is the one kind of yeeting up their missile swarms onto this tower. And Vaxlon just seems to be stuck against a lot of resistance here because people are utilizing the height all around this tower just to pick and prod them. This is the last shield battery that Vaxlon has. Only, oh, I lied. It says 5. He can loot his teammates now, so a little bit better if they're going to go out. Unfortunately, there's nothing 100 Thieves can do. They are eviscerated by every other team in the lobby looking their way.
My goodness, if it wasn't NRG, it was Complexity. If it wasn't Complexity, it was Optic on the other side. Everybody wanted a piece of the cake right there. They wanted to be invited to the party, even if they have to stay at home. And Complexity now just trying to see where those shots were coming from. They note that it was on the other side of that zip line by that rock. The pings coming in from Monsoon. Waited to see what they're going to do because the circle is going to continuously pull towards the south side.
Just pay attention, you know. I am so excited. Like Monsoon bringing this new roster to Complexity. You know, Luda at one point was playing under ESA, has kind of switched around. I believe was on MLP at one point as well. Just throughout the journey and the roster changes. Pairing that with Monsoon, and you and I got to spend some time with him at the green room, just hearing his thought process on and bring him to the desk in London. Just really smart, really kind, and you want people like that to find a lot of success here. They're just absolutely passionate about the game. So far, I've seen good things from the change-ups, but it just seems like maybe we're gonna have to wait and see what Stormpoint has in store for them, or maybe Complexity gets a mount win here.
Let's see, Complexity being one of our consistent squads in those last 2 games. Being one of the teams out here to land themselves. Top 5, just waiting out here as Complexity just overlooking the action happening around them here too. Nice little patience. And bunkering down with the Catalyst. Something that we're going to be seeing more teams that bunker down with some of these characters opt to do in a much more patient play style when it comes to these final circles once they get that read. Looking at the overall map though here, Tiff, you can see so many other squads still playing on the edge. FaZe backed away a little bit. Complexity still inside these buildings. Looking to get involved with Lanimals out here. Dark Zero too could find themselves getting pinched by the squads.
Honestly, a 3v3 fight with Lanimals and Dark Zero sounds like something so exciting because I know they're going to absolutely give it their all, like always. But just pitting those 2 teams, I just can only imagine what's going to happen. Meanwhile, Drugfee making their rotation in on the south side, right? Just on the outskirts of LTC and TSM. A lot of open ground right there. Maybe a couple rocks for you to utilize while playing. But depending on where that zone is going to start pulling, it's going to make for a rather tough rotation. And they were talking about, you know, their macro being on point. This is what I want to see. Where are you going to position yourself coming from the very outskirts in the open where a lot of teams can see you?
Especially if the circle keeps pulling south, right? Because you have to think about the circle potentially being on those bins to the left side of Overlook. I made mention of that before, but that's going to benefit teams that have decided to take their time by No Name to the east side of Fragment East. And teams like even Dark Zero holding the high ground here because they're going to have the teams that are leading Fragment in their line of sight. You can see the teams trying to desperately rotate away from No Name. The team right behind them, though, they just want to keep themselves aware to make sure nobody's going to try to pinch at the same time. They had that information previously. You can see the Bangalore smokes. We can never be too safe for some of these teams that like to take their time rotating by the edge.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got the Seer and the Catalyst. You have the controller player, you have the recon character, so you can utilize the beacons and the ring consoles to get not only the ring information, but that scan that will kind of give you the snapshot of all the players that are surrounding you. Sure. Not only do you have the firepower, but you got a lot of the knowledge when you can pass by and rotate through an area that has that available to you. I'm looking at Drug Freeze comp. They're running that Bang Valk Seer. So they are actually going with a controllerless comp, so they're not getting that ring information. But okay,
Sharky with these long distance guns. I'm not even surprised. We've seen him pop off before. We mentioned of it after game number 1. It's 30-30, control 2 with the bullet drop. Always interesting to see. Lanimals, though, they made the rotate away from Epi now in this direction from the north side of the circle, but forced to play off the low ground. You can see Exhibition coming out here, too, from the Seer, trying to take some shots out of a fight that may be happening right in front of them. I know FaZe was holding that backside, but we also noted that Complexity was there, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lanimals was one of those teams that I had wanted to see play out. Meanwhile, Verholst back up, and TSM's back to a team of 3, and they are taking on LTC, but it's Drug Free that also wants a piece of TSM as well. Hal going to fall at the hands, and LTC going to be eliminated from the lobby, but it's going to be Verholst that needs to clutch it up. This third party going to be immensely powerless. Verholst goes to hit the grab lift, but it's not going to be enough. Drug Free just stuffs him in the face right there and eliminates TSM.
Drug Free looks incredibly scary right now. Not only did Asura get that hard read on the rotation from Verholst, I mean, there's only so many places he could go out of that tunnel, but it was the fact that they are wrecking now in this lobby here too. They got 2 KP, they timed that fight nicely, exiting out of that tunnel where they could have got a gate kept by the other squads that are already hanging out by Overlook, but now they have this entire south side circle. Is if Optic rotate away from Overlook behind them, or they get pinched by the squads rotating away from Fragment East to the east, right, to the south side. Oh, Zero in the feed with the Kraber as well. So much fighting happening on each side of the circle right now, Tiff.
This is absolutely insane. I'm just thinking back, and I'm trying to remember. I know Saucer has played with Hill previously through a multitude of different teams, all the way back to HRN in 2020. And just finding... Just think of all the years and all the teams and finding that trio that you work so well with. And then even CLG, bringing back the Caustic Gibby. Everyone's like, bro, I miss the Gibby bubble fights. You see the bubble go down. You've got the defensive bombardment in your hand, and chaos is breaking out.
Here we go. Let's get started with the Rolling Thunder moving in and the Gibby Dome coming in clutch. CLG rocking the double big boys and the Wraith to portal them and taxi them through this open ground. It's about the plays that they're trying to pull off here, though. Trying to avoid not just the catalyst spikes, but the Mad Maggie drill too. Actually crazy right now. They get rid of the spikes. They're playing off the lip of the rock and the little slight low ground from the lip of this rock.
頭そうそうそうずっとそれが治らん薬終わったしロックス髪の毛めっちゃ綺麗なんじゃないこの人
The aggression comes in.
マギーがちょっといるね
It didn't matter if there was a Gibby bubble down or not, because look at that. MLS able to eliminate them, minimize the damage taken, and reset so impeccably quick that now they just need to turn their sights on with 15 seconds remaining to get into that next zone. So you start looking at the power positions that you need to get and take away. That Dark Veil kind of impeding a little bit, but it's going to hide you as you retreat back to the building. Native Gaming on your screen, playing from the RV. Yeah, we've seen a lot of people try to fortify this, but with the open windows, we've also seen it kind of backfire.
Is going crazy in the feed, getting some knocks with the grenades. Talk about Native now inside of this building currently as well. They finish up. Land Animals looking like they're in a lot of trouble. 12 squads left right now. Saucer still finding some knocks though. Now that Shubi goes down, that means that Drug Free is getting involved in this next fight here too versus MLS.
Can we talk about Klein? That portal right there was everything that we were talking about. He was able to move from so far outside the zone onto the edge of the zone. They're working on getting that res off onto Bullet. Klein and Kevin healed up. That is
LG
everything.
も
NRG, though,
こう
drug-free
いう
eliminated
構成なん
11
です
squads,
ね。
and look how small this zone is. NRG 3 eliminations to their name thus far, sitting on triple red, and you've got Guild throwing down that black market so they can make sure they are completely kitted out for what is to ensue.
Energy, the only team right now to be rocking the Loba, feeling comfortable with what they're bringing to the table with the black market. Dark Zero get eliminated in your feed right now.
なんか
Thanks to some
NRG は
base
ずっ
and
と
GE here. Bullet also gets that knock of the Cyclone, so a lot of action
あれだ
happening
ね
on that
なんだ
mid side.
ローバ
While
の
NRG are just gonna
感
patiently
じあ
wait
るな
right here. They're gonna have to start moving
イメ
in
ー
less
ジ
than a minute into that next circle.
Time is of the essence. They do have the jump tower available to them, but they may decide just to kind of obviously walk it in. There is a dark veil, but it seems as if they're going to come straight behind MLS. Should they keep the high ground, which I think would be mission critical to this native game, and swinging, and just like that, MLS eliminated, but not before losing out on Klain and a knock onto Kenny. Bullet might fall here as well. NRG just eviscerated them.
NRG with a great rotation onto that high ground to scoop up some KP while they're at it. Now they're backing away in time. Wondering how those comms are sounding right now from Sweet. You talked about it before in the pre-show. The 900 IQ comms coming in from Sweet, predicting all 5 steps ahead basically of where NRG usually is. Rocking not only full red Evos, but rocking 8 KP to their name. Completely clearing the south side of the map, but they're crossing over some open ground right now. Sentinel's not looking at them. Optic not looking at them. They actually get involved in this fight off the game, playing up the low ground of this building.
A lot of shields being cracked. They're trying to individually swing this entryway to the building and put some damage down, but I don't think they're going to fully commit just yet. Should they grab a knock, maybe that would give them the opening, but you don't want to really throw anything thus far, especially when people are really marking open airways with those thermites. We saw it happen, especially on the last map, GE not able to push in because of a thermite, but Keon is the team inside the building. RK and Rambo, let's see what they're all about. They're getting stuck on the outskirts of the ring, stunned by a nade, and Optic Gaming may have the win of this fight.
Oh my goodness, between the Arc Stars and the Dark Veil, one by one, NRG getting involved, cleaning up what was left, but losing out on Nathan. Sweet falling incredibly low. Gonna play up the other side here too. Guild drops down, but Sweet's opting to pop the shield bat instead. The nades coming in clutch right here as Complexity now get involved, fully healed as a 3-man.
As soon as I say I thought they were gonna win that fight, what happens? Complexity happens. Not only does NRG go out, but now we're looking at FaZe, Glitch Energy, and Complexity here on the outskirts. And it's a war of attrition. And how do you get the other teams to look at one another? Complexity holding the high ground of this building. They've got plenty of time because they're not just on the outside of the zone. They're halfway in between. So they have plenty of time to stay hidden and utilize this rooftop. Can we force GE and FaZe to fight so that Complexity can just focus on cleaning up and taking home a map win?
They could definitely do that, especially looking at all the space that they have cleared up on their side of the circle right now. FaZe is in a difficult situation where they're pinned between Complexity and Glitch on the other side. Glitch may be either forced to take this fight, or they're going to be rotating on the other side of FaZe, where they're going to get focus fired by both Complexity and FaZe at the same time. So this is a difficult spot for FaZe to be in, but Complexity could help them out and give suppressed fire essentially to Glitch whenever Glitch tries to approach after the circle closes in right behind their backs.
Rex and Phony last standing for FaZe. You've got a Cat and a Seer up for them. So they are able to kind of anchor down a space. Here's to hoping that Frex might have the Dark Veil. We could see that come out and maybe split an LOS for one of those teams to help them make a maneuver and not be so sandwiched, because they are going to have to fend off Complexity, who has that high ground.
There you go, the start of the fight. Grenade toss here from Cody. Can he find a crack going down as the Veil comes up? Oh, this move from Glitch is huge! The Catalyst Dark Veil to block out the vision between Complexity and FaZe buys Glitch enough time to try to see if they can counter-rotate. Complexity, though, have the safety of the building. They're just gonna wait to see what he ends up doing. A wall for a wall. We are blocking all vision out here as FaZe is getting outside of this fight.
Oh, this is gonna be really tough. A lot of visual clutter coming in. a split three-way endgame zone, and a lot of these catalysts are utilizing piercing spikes hidden within the Dark Veil, as you can imagine. 30 seconds is what that Dark Veil is going to last, and reads last alive for Glitch Energy. Complexity has been
今のウルト消えないで欲しかったな。スナイプのとこですか？
They waited out. Patience paid off here for FaZe. They were stuck inside of that truck for so long. And if that Dark Veil from Glitch didn't come out where they ended up counter-rotating, then FaZe would have been the ones in trouble. That was great patience from FaZe, but looking at all the action, they did not want to get involved in the mess.
Well, FaZe take the W. They have been very consistent, and I think that will land them not only in the top 3, but top 2. Could it be even first place? Incredible performances from them coming into a new roster here, and it was Drug Free who had taken games 1 and 2 by storm. They would not end up grabbing our third game, our last game on World's Edge, but Tiff and Vic, a very intense final in-game zone. We saw Catalyst at play. We saw a lot of really nice dynamics between Seer as well, but again, those dual walls, complexity. I mean, Glitch Energy, the second final zone that they've been in as well. We're seeing a lot of teams, Tiff, that really weren't on everyone's radar, at least at the start, really show up today and make us talk about them. And I think it's just been an excellent sight for North America in general.
I mean, it's just all about who can adapt to the different changes from Season 16 and utilize them. But I mean, we saw tweets talking about earlier how it doesn't necessarily matter which legend you're playing. It's about your team synergy and your ability to utilize whichever legend that you hop on, which is why I think it's just been an absolute journey of trying to figure out who you're going to excel on. Maybe you don't need a controller legend to find that ring information if you're going to be playing hard edge and you're going to walk your way in through and through and take whatever fight you want and just basically chow people for your top spot.
Yeah, Vicky, do you agree with that? I mean, is kind of this idea of your legend choice as we take a look at these highlights not as consequential as the fact that you guys are just in.
そうそう、ちょうどこれ勝ってるもんな。
I 100% agree with that. That was actually a conversation that I had at LAN with Monsoon when we were talking about certain teams opting for other different compositions. I mean, a good highlight actually is talking about Gilda and Loba. We don't see Loba being played in NA. We're seeing their playstyle being basically amplified with the choice of the black market. Yeah, they went down in the middle of the rotation, but it is about what the teams are feeling way more comfortable with. Even if it means using Bangalore, Catalyst, it depends here on the way that they like to play.
It has been a rough go for TSM so far. This is not what we expected, but it might have been actually what I saw coming a little bit. I paid a lot of attention to their scrims, and there's some arguments going back and forth between Raven, between Hal, talking about which lineup should be used. Even though it's weird, you would think TSM was all about initiating this idea of Catalyst, gone away from it in the first 3 games on World's Edge. Will they make a switch up on Stormpoint? NRG was starting to look a very similar way, 1 and 2 in playoffs respectively, and they started to pop off here, Tip, in game number 3. That was a strong sign for NRG fans.
Yeah, it was really just doing kind of what they needed to do, the swing here by Native Gaming.
サクさん、こんがりです。おはようございます。リピーター使ってるね、めっちゃ。
Taking all of that damage, and NRG just looking so clean. Now, granted, it might take a couple games to kind of get that split to Pro League kind of hat on where they want to start dominating everything. But Glitch Energy, this was just so nice. But at the end, FaZe just able to withstand all 3 dark veils and
日本とはちゃうところがありますな。
Didn't work for them last time. They stayed in that building. Remember where Drug Free was able to win in the game 2. Glitch Energy were outside fighting against Drug Free. FaZe was kind of trying to play it slow. FaZe plays it slow here again, and it really does work out. Let's take a look at the results though after game number 3 here in North America. Woo, the action. It's been phenomenal. 21 points for FaZe. Glitch Energy right behind
TSM があれだね。
top 3 in a row. Complexity rounding it out with 10 points in the 3rd position. Team Diverge, 5 placement points, no kills. Diverge holding it down in the placement category. That's one way to go, and it's okay. But in terms of 3rd place overall, in terms of points, you got to give some love to NRG, who showed up 11 kills. Big time stuff. Dark Zero find themselves on there. Sentinels as well. Optic Gaming, MLS, Native Gaming. These have been our performers. TSM hasn't been on that list right now. And I'm sure
パソコン大丈夫です。パソコンはちょっと泣いてたけど大丈夫そう。
Our most recent land winners. You can't not talk about the expectations going into the start.
そうそう、春めちゃめちゃ多い人数。さっき最初のガルもチッチつけようとしたらめちゃめちゃいた。から人いすぎてパッと見そっちが公式かと思った。
I mean, with how frag heavy energy was in that last game, the leaderboards are shaking up a lot. We saw how far up ahead Drug Free was. We could expect them to probably still be on top. They probably have 47 points after that previous game. But FaZe has been consistent, like you guys have been mentioning. Glitch Energy finding themselves in these top 3 moments as well with some KP to their name. Energy probably went from 11th, I believe it was before that last game, to now skyrocketing in the top 5. So it's been really interesting to see how a lot of these heavy KP games and the positioning that some of these teams are taking have allowed them to actually maybe have some early lackluster games into having one pop-off moment, because we still got 3 games to go.
Well, you know what it means when we have halftime. We've got Nocturnal. Actually, we have Nocturnal with us here. He's going to be telling us a little bit about what he thinks. From XSET joining us. I see a little smirk going on there. Come on.
That was a beautiful segue. I love that.
Surprise.
You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're the best. It's great to have you with us, Mr. XSET. You get to watch Pro League. Everybody sweat while you play tomorrow. Give us your rundown. 30 seconds, 60 seconds. How you been feeling watching these first 3 games? What are your takeaways?
I mean, honestly, Drug Free is clean. Like they're kind of taking away, and wow, they showed up and took away the first 2 games of NA, and it's like kind of unheard of. Like they
あ、ガルじゃないのかじゃなくて、いやもうそれはもうみんな分かった上で大丈夫ですか？パソコンって言ってんのかと思った。大丈夫大丈夫。
I think you gotta love the way that teams are showing up in this new meta. It's a new change. I want to get your thoughts too on
その流れをもう分かった上で言ってるのかと思った。ごめん、もう言わなくても分かってるかと思った。
Has this meta been something that's been challenging for you guys? I know you're
春いたい。ちょっと春のさ、ミラーの許可欲しくない？
meta pick, and it's worked really well for you. How do you feel going into season 16? And what your options are, what you're seeing players run, and just the whole landscape for those viewers watching.
It's kind of chaotic, honestly. Everyone's experimenting. Everyone's kind of just like limit testing as much as physically possible. It's going to slowly, I think, gravitate away from the position comps, because a lot of, the POIs that had the beacons and stuff like that lost them, unfortunately. But it's going to be a lot of hybrid play styles, just people rotating the zone with the best armors they can and the strongest comps they feel comfortable with. It's a lot of comfortability. Whatever you feel good with, we are still ironing out our comps, unfortunately, but I think tomorrow we're gonna, go in strong and play our best regardless of what we play.
I want to give Vicky and Tiff a chance to ask some questions too that they've been considering about whether it's this lobby or what's coming up tomorrow. But first, I want to see if we can get your reactions to our series results here. I know we're going to be able to bring them up and have them for you to take a look at, because yeah, you're right. Drug Free's been running away with it. Surprises, positively, maybe some negative surprises. Highlight both of those sides of the coin for us.
I'm in. I'm gonna do it. The TSM is 16th. What the heck, I'm surprised actually with Lanimals though. Lanimals really surprised me. I kind of expected them to be like way higher. I had like a lot of regards to them. They've been looking really impressive in scrims lately, and their communications are kind of flawless lately. But most of the usuals are waking up, Energy, FaZe, Optic on, slowly edging back to top, which is really nice. CLG with the shiny, Drug Free, what the heck, they're 47 points in 3 games, massively impressive on the first day. Sentinels also shake up too. It's a lot of the usual top teams are struggling a bit right now, and it's impressive to see, some underdogs come up and come through.
Yeah, we have a package of Drug Free. I want you to give your thoughts, and also Tiff, Vicky, while he's giving some thoughts on Drug Free, feel free to interject, Tiff, if you want to go first, just anything you have while we're running kind of the highlights of the team that's been dominating so far.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a couple what the heck moments, the first being TSM and the second being Drug Free. Kind of give me your thoughts moving into Stormpoint now that we've seen World's Edge with kind of this questionable what is happening here in NA. Who do you think is going to come out on top for Stormpoint, Nocturnal?
Honestly, I see probably an Energy like on top. I think Drug Free, most people that you get those points kind of like coast. Now they have these points and they try to take it safe, and they play for like, these small points to edge their first place if possible. But I can see definitely Energy coming back. I can see an Optic, being strong as always on Stormpoint, and I think the usuals will definitely show on Stormpoint. It's very unforgiving for newer teams.
Well, with Tiff kind of wrapping that up for
時
you,
差
I
時
do
差あ
have
っ
a
た今
question, okay? We did see each other recently at London. I know you were coming out
Yes,
feeling
we
like you
did.
guys needed to improve out here. I mean, the change up in composition has been interesting to see the transition from EMEA to NA. We've
お
been
ひろ
seeing
さん
a
おはよう
lot
ござい
of
ます
Wraith out here. Do you have any thoughts between the Wraith, the Valkyrie, as well as the Bangalore and Catalyst now that we make this transition onto Stormpoint? Are you expecting anything different to bring brought up? Because, I mean,
絶対もう
CLG,
入るです
it's
ねめっ
like
ちゃは
they
い
got a
確か
call.
に日
They're
差し
going
の
all the
雰
way
囲気が
back to
変わった
season
の
one. They're rocking the double big boys and the Wraith. There's a lot
あ
of
さず
change
さ
up
さ
right
んは
now
今日は
in
今
NA.
日もお休みですか
Honestly, Wraith, we started playing Wraith too a little bit. We might, a little sneak
Yeah.
peek in tomorrow. Might play Wraith also.
Okay.
But the Bang right now is probably one of the strongest characters,
と
honestly.
いう
I
か
think
ストッ
I
プで
think
ない
more
から
teams
多
should
分
be playing her over Catalyst personally, but people are kind of relying way too much on ring information. I think Wraith she's not the greatest, but she gets the job done in what she does, and she's actually really fun to play currently. But Cat's a new shakeup. Actually, just like kind of refreshing to see a new meta with Cat and also CLG. Shout out to them. They're playing, Gibby Caustic Wraith, which is actually a really fun comp. We played it once, and it's pretty fun. Like I respect it a lot.
無我夢
And
中で
I'm
鼻水
surprised
かんで
there's
たわ
like significantly less position teams. Like
Well,
I say position, but like the Watson comps, the
shit.
Loba comps, the Loba's kind of on the weaker side right now. But there's not many position teams, especially on World's Edge. It's kind of surprising.
Well, Nock, thank you so much. It's been great to talk with you. Thank you for our little meta watch conversation, and of course from the pro
一
analysis.
瞬
You
や
have a
ば
chance to go ahead and
半
rest up,
袖
watch the rest of the games, and be ready for tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you, and good luck in your games.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you all.
Oh, Nocturnal, thank you so much. It's fun always to talk.
どういうこと
He's
だ
a good guy. He's always good spirited. We can have some fun with him as well. And yes, you're right. If you want to see your pros that we've brought on Graceful, Nocturnal,
何の話だ
all you
なん
gotta
か
do is
何の話
get
だ
to playoffs or get to championships. They're all there in person if you want to hang out with them, like we've been able to do overall this year. And if you want to be there but you want to be playing, well, I got another route for you. The Challenger Circuit. Check it out. Registration ends on March 22nd. Tournament starts on March 25th, which means you have maybe 11 days to get figured out, but if you can, there's a spot, there's a chance at Glory waiting for you. But like everything in the ALGS, you're gonna have to earn it. Challenger Circuit available for all
もう
of
終わり
you.
ま
Hey,
えん
ladies and
なんて
gentlemen,
言って
what a
るか
great start to today. We had 2 drug-free wins. We had a phase win, brand new phase squad coming in. Can they continue to do it? Will Phony, Frex, and Snipe Down prove they're the real deal, a brand new trio with experienced veterans, or will drug-free be stepping it up even higher? Will NRG, like Nox said, dominate Stormpoint? All of that on the line, and all of that coming up right after this. WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another game of the ALGS. Now we are switching it over onto Stormpoint. Of course, I am Rainday, joined by Spider Tiff, ready to get into the action. And yes, Tiff, it's been a great day so far. A lot of changes to you know, what we've expected. Drug Free being a back-to-back winner in game 1 and 2. Not many people had that. FaZe also winning, Snipe Down with Frex and Phony, a brand new coalition of players who have all been in the league for a while. What will we see on Storm Point? That's the question I leave to you to answer as the dropship starts letting our players off onto the wonderful Oasis with prowlers, with spiders, and with more dangerous things than that all around. We'll see who can manage it and who can master it here as game 4 begins.
Look, I think there's going to be so many unique things. It was great to hear from Nocturnal, kind of their thought process behind it and what we might see. NRG, Drug Free, Optic might be able to throw down. They've been consistently making it towards a lot of those end games. And as we shift on over, you've got such a larger map, that top-down perspective. They've landed a little bit split.
マサさん、1時間ぐらい走ってきます。また後で行ってらっしゃい。行ってらっしゃい、行ってらっしゃい。お気をつけて。また会いましょう。
The contest is going to be. You see Drug Free down there already kind of getting into some early engagements.
Yeah, there's a fight down there.
さあ。
Looks like AJC and Drug Free. Well, this would be a big story. Drug Free, get into this. Oh my God, big shots from both. Orioles and Not Nuts.
またマップで変わるもんな、構成が多分。
Excuse me. Doing way more. Drug Free trying to respond in kind. Impulse on a blue means probably some damage was done there. So 2 members trading off here, but a tense 3v3 on what could be a tournament deciding point. I mean, if Drug Free go down here, they're starting to let that lead slip away and let people come in. If they stay up, stay alive, have a big game 4, this is looking like one of the bigger upsets than you would have imagined, Tiff. Just Drug Free having a chance to really take home this first day of the NA split. So a lot on the line here in this one, and Not Nuts is going for it.
Ooh, sending it straight in. They're trying to piece Sorcerer together, and Not Nuts utilizing that R9, 19 bullets in a dream, but already able to grab 1 knock. This could put a thorn into Drug Free, essentially trying to make a play for the overall win of the day. They've already got 2 members down, and Boat is trying to close the distance with the wingman Ironsight, not able to connect. You can see the last member just trying to finesse themselves away, and 1 member of AJC reigning up top here, trying to withstand, but they just like that. I mean, as soon as they knew they had 2 members down on Drug Free, they were not going to let the 3rd get away.
And it was a great push, too. Not Nuts takes the high ground, and they push as a 2 on to Sorcerer, who, in my opinion, maybe misplayed there. Had the option to go inside the door. I thought that was brilliant. Where they would have had to kick it down, would have bought time for at least a shield cell and teams to rotate. But the door swung right back open, and it allowed that R9 spray to finish them off. And once you go 3v2 with barely any shielding and that type of pressure, it was always going to be.
宇津木なんか自分だって、どうしたんぬいちゃん、どうしたのぬいちゃん。何があったん。
Games 1 and 2 will
ど
be
う
the
したんや。
highlight of day 1 for them.
あれマギーなの。
Here in one of the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, they are just kind of sending it. I was thinking about this. If you're going to land on any weapon during a contest, sure, you want it to be a PK, but also the R9, right? Due to the recent Season 16 changes, you move on that base damage. It gets a nice buff on that R9. But the car is the one that's still, granted, it's very consistent, but the nerfs came in the form of the mag size. So if you look at the pick rate thus far, for the R9 here, just on the NA games that we've seen thus far, 32 eliminations have been from the R9. The next closest weapon is going to be 17 eliminations from the flatline.
That is an amazing stat as well. And you can see, I think the shift from all the different types of SMGs, it just denotes a very healthy balancing system Respawn is intentionally trying to bring to the meta. Every season has something new. And in this season, particularly, the Nemesis has kind of started off as the golden child of weapons, but in terms of the ALGS, in the last month, we've been able to play this since Valentine's Day, almost petered off in terms of the hype, the excitement. Still a fantastic weapon, but going back to the tried and trues, the G7s, the 3030s, the R9s, the flatlines, the PKs, we seem to see those standing out, the Prowlers especially, a little bit more than the Nemesis right now, which is sometimes even being less preferred than the Havoc, as we saw in EMEA. So curious to see how that shakes out, Tiff. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but I particularly would love to see that weapon, as we see it here in Zero's hands, really put on full display, because its potential is disgusting.
It's disgusting, and I know there are gold nemesises at one point lying around the map, but you have to think about ammo conservation. If you have
次に聞いてなんだその
so much
いや
energy ammo to
嬉しそうっていう
boot,
か
then
普通
you're
に
gonna
何
be
があっ
totally
たんだろ
fine.
う
You
っ
can
ていう
see
気になるっていうね。
320 rounds of energy ammo, but that base mag on the Nemesis only has 20 rounds, and with a 4-round burst weapon,
どう
that's
したんや
5
悩み事があっ
different
たら聞
bursts,
くで
if my math's correct, which is always really scary to do on broadcast.
No, you're good. You're good there.
And you can run out of ammo really quickly, but the moment you start
True.
getting an energy mag, you pair it with a 3x or a
あんまり
bruiser, you're gonna find so much
変わ
success
らん
here,
ねんな。
especially on Storm Point with the POIs being so kind of far apart and the top-down verticality. You can utilize that distance and you can really frag out and
Yeah.
get that opening damage, maybe find a knock early so you can
レ
kind
ス
of
嫌いなんだ。
just
へ
capitalize
え
on that opportunity, close the distance,
まあでも
maybe
出
hit
ち
him
ま
with
った
a
も
C
ん
or
しょう
Q
がねえよ
and
な。
then push in.
Yeah, I love the way
解
that
説
you're
者に
breaking
嫌い
that
と
down.
言われ
I
ま
also
しても
really
あるんで
love
すもの
micro
って感じだ
chats
もん
as
ね。
well. It's part of the part of me that loves making content, getting into the minutia of things. But when the Nemesis actually gets ramped up, it is better
ま
than
あいや、
almost
この
all
キャラ
the
構成と
weapons
か求
that
める
you
の
are
はま
going
た
to be
終
seeing.
わっ
But
て
the
からですよ。
problem is, it's that tick boxes type thing that if you don't tick all of them, and it's the first couple of shots aren't as good as most weapons. The second, it's about even. And when you do finally get that third ramp up as that passive of shooting faster, the more that you shoot it, that's when you really get the value from this weapon. So late game scenarios, when you have a lot of
う
ammo,
ん、ネメシス
and when you're
は、
really able to take advantage
う
of
ん、
being able to shoot consistently without being
そのうち
pressured
落ち着
up
くだろう
close,
な。
I think
まあまあ、
that's
出
where
た
the
シーズン
Nemesis
はそ
is
れは
going
ち
to
ょっと
shine.
強
So
くいさせ
two
てあげて
times,
って
so
感じ
three
ね。
times on this weapon, I think it's going to be exactly where you need to live. And I think it's going to be really more on an anchor character versus somebody who's going to be getting up into
で
the
も、
mix like a fragger, like somebody who's going to be the
ディ
entry
ボーショ
point
ンいなくなっ
person,
たよね。
like on a Zane. I don't think a Nemesis is going to work as well on a
ディボ
character
がいな
like
くなった
that
か
or a player
ら、
like that.
対
And so it's going
面
to be up to
の絶
you
望感
know
はな
the
くなったね。
reps of the world, maybe the onmus of the
中
world
距
to
離
decide
の
is
ネ
this
メシス
better
の
than a
高橋はマ
30-30
ジ
for
だるいけ
me
ど、
and having maybe a flatline or something a little bit more
近距離対
consistent
面でさ、
in
ディ
the
ボーション
position
の
of
音が
trying
聞
to
こえて、
hold
あ、
down
もう
and
終わ
call
った
for
っ
my
てな
team
る
and
のが
not
なくなっ
necessarily be
たの
first
がい
into
い。
the action. So a lot of great questions, a lot of great conversation here as well. Let us know in the
女の
chat
人の
what you
発言お
think
もろい。へ
about
え、
the
あれかな、
Nemesis,
鼻
if
ピ
you
アス
like
して
it,
る
if
方
you're
の人
feeling
か
it
な。
here in season 16.
わからんけど。
As we head over to one of my favorite areas, off to gaming, Dark Zero as well, holding your
0が
barometer
100、
and
そうなんよな。
a
使
little
えるか使
posturing
えな
tip.
くなる
Not
から
too
だもん
much
な。
fighting, but just making sure they don't take a step out of line too far.
Yeah, with a lot of teams starting their rotation onto the barometer area, you start to think that this is technically where they
この
have
声
decided
は、
the
あ
end
の、
game is going to be operated from.
化粧をい
And
っぱい
there's
してる
so
方の
many
人。
levels to barometer and the ability to play multitude of different places. Optic kind of playing this side tier area. They can go up
ライトで
peek
気合もいもい
around,
の
but
人は今喋って
you
る人
heard
ね。こ
Nocturnal
っち
mention
か
the
な、さっき
support
からずっと喋っ
characters
てるの。
and Loba not necessarily being as
もっ
viable
とサ
here,
バサ
and
バ喋っ
maybe
てる
only
方
a
が、
couple of them in the
花ピア
lobby.
スの方の
And the
人。
challenge of getting resources late game, we're typically not going to see maybe some banner crafting, that perk that support characters have the ability to do. We may have seen that in ranked, but I don't think that's going to manifest here on the pro level.
I agree with you. I completely agree, and it's going to be an interesting way to also see just, do we even have support legends from the class perspective valued at any rate for the top 3 spots? Loba is close, but in terms of Gibraltar and in terms of Newcastle, it seems a very far cry considering that. Changes maybe to be made mid-season, maybe to be made next season. Either way,
別
these
ゲーの
players
名
are
前
going
入れ
to
た
be
今。
on their toes, adjusting. And I think that might have been the theme as we head into our final 3 games, Tiff. The theme so far for me has
誰
been,
一つ使うかやれるも
what's
ん。
going on? Everyone's doing different things. Nothing's quite securely working like we've seen Fire Beavers kind of dominate in EMEA. I'm waiting for that moment though, and I do think maybe Storm Point is when we're going to see it.
Yeah, I mean, things are moving a little more slowly thus far, which I can respect. It kind of happened that way in EMEA. The first map took forever for teams to start whittling down, and teams are just kind of trying to poke around. 100 Thieves hitting a little bit of a rotation there, finding some arrows connect on the bow check to really poke damage, give you the information of what these teams are kind of rocking with. Dark Zero sitting on 2 purples and a blue, just kind of vibing out on the outskirts of the ring, but a lot of hard edge fighting not necessarily happening just yet. I feel like teams are trying to set themselves up for success, but utilizing the bow check. Vaxon just maybe looking to get himself onto purple.
100 Thieves
お忘れの方がいましたら高評価、チャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。言うの忘れとった。レア配信の時高評価をお願いするの忘れがち。
In second place, but our
お忘
highest
れの方いらっし
in
ゃいま
terms
す。よ
of
ろ
the
しくお
point
願いし
total
ます。
alive in the lobby since drug free is down, sitting on I believe about 45 points. But remember, they had 43 after 2, so it hasn't been a great last 2 games. Maybe this is the biggest story so far.
どうも
Land
敵チクチク
winners in London. Every single show we've
今
had
まで
today
カ
has
タリ
been
スト刺さったことないんだよな、
these
彼
two
の。
in several opening moments.
メロン
We've
使い
seen
キャ
the
ラ
clip
増や
of
さないと。
TSM
そう
winning
ね。
and then taking that trophy into their hands,
むずいよ
raising it in the
ね。
air to the chance of the fans. They've not been anywhere today so far. And I wonder if this lineup, the Valk, Bangalore, Seer, is going to give them a little bit more than that Horizon lineup. Having Verhulst on that had given them on World's Edge.
I mean, Verhulst is a nasty Valk player, just able to move freely, utilize that jetpack passive to navigate the rooftop.
お豆さんおはよう。
Might play better here on Stormpoint for them, but I've seen such
1
good
マッ
moves
チ
out
目
of
2
them.
マ
I
ッ
just
チ目は
think
ドラッ
maybe
グフリ
they
ーってと
just
ころ
got
で
caught
チャ
out
ンピオ
on
ン取
rotations
り
or
ました
maybe
ね。
had a misstep here and
カ
there.
タリ
I
ストが
don't
ガチ
think
で
you
多
need
い
to。look at TSM and be like,
や
what the
ばい。
heck? It's just kind of fun to do. It's almost like a troll thing at this point. But I just know
Are they
that
good?
ベー
Are
ス
they
の
even
目使
good?
え
I
ない
don't
から
know.
わ
If
か
they're
る。
I mean, look, there's so many different ways you could look at that. A switch will turn and then they'll just put 2 maps back to back of high scoring games and then everyone will be like,
Sure.
all is right in the world, you know? It could happen. It started off slow a little bit in EMEA for Ascend, who had done
Yep.
so well in Split 1 playoffs as well and started turning some gears together towards the end of the map series earlier today. So I think that could happen here with TSM.
Yeah, to your point, you do have to go into this with the idea that it is a season, right? This isn't the LAN championships. This is a season. There are 9 days before you get into your 10th day, which is the regional final. So you don't need to have it all figured out right now. In fact, maybe a little bit of loss. Look, a couple of pieces of strong information, yeah, on the negative side of that's not working for sure, will help you in the long run versus figuring it out, playing just the static comp that you know is going to be pretty good, but maybe not the best it could be. And I think that's where the conversations, if you watch their scrims between Raven, between Hal, is going. It's a bit contentious at times. It's frustrating at times, trying these compositions, saying, how can we play into this? We've got nothing we can do to siege a building if the building is being held by Catalyst, but giving it a go anyway, trying to figure out how it can work. That's part of the dynamic, I think, of a great team, you know, the push and pull of ideas and minds going at it to ultimately get to the right solution. That's really all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get there. It's just getting to that right solution at the end of the day is what these players care about.
Yeah. Speaking of getting there,
外での戦いになったらカタリストいないともう何もできなくね。ガストワッチョンじゃちょっとって感じだな。
of trying to make that rotation in a good map update. Shout out to production behind the scenes.
そう、扉破壊されて
is going to be kind of cutting into a lot of those chokeholds, those 3 mountains on the right.
あれさ、壊された壁補強、壊されたドアを、ドアが取れちゃってる状態で壁補強したらあれは何回で壊れるの？ランパートもし、ランパートはシーラで走れるようになってからな。神調整が入ることの期待しとるわ。2回ドア補強されたのって蹴るのってあれ6回 ?4 回あれは6回この間4回蹴って壊れてなかったんだよな。補強され何もないところにドア出したら2回か。あ、ドアに4回この間4回蹴って壊れてなかったぞ、あれたち。何のあれなんだろう。あ、2枚扉のとこ蹴ってたからあれか、お互い違う扉蹴ってたんかな、あれたち。共和に変えつつ、なるほどね。
They're pushing
左右だからか、左右の扉だからこの間4回で壊れなかったのか。違う方向蹴ってたの。もうちょっと待って、もう真っ黒真っ黒、視界がすごい。なんかすごいね。世界がわからん。
The fact is, reps right now, the whole team 15% slowed. They're going to be blinded for 7 seconds. And yeah, they were able to get the finish onto Madness, but they still need to find Luxferdy and Shubi, who are nestled up in the top of this nut, trying to withstand and maybe cohabitate this building. Now TSM fully reset here. And MLS down to 2. They do have that team on the outskirts that's trying to play the bridge, who hasn't necessarily pushed in just yet, which I think is a very smart play for them. Because once you have to get into these barometer zones, the open water, and for the teams that are playing on top of the barometer, are going to find so much success.
And I think
確かに左右切ってたかもしれんね、あれ。
They found a better spot than they had.
蹴るよっつって、1、2、3、4、あれみたいな。
plays too. And so that's really the key. Outside, not a lot of plays. Inside, top floor, you definitely have some plays, but they know Luxferdy and Shubi.
じゃあドア、なるほどね、2回補強が。なるほどね。
Big shot miss with the Kraber. Might be enough with the R9 though from distance.
4回も蹴るの緊張するよな、なんかその蹴ってる間に扉開いて撃たれるんじゃないかっていう恐怖が来るよな。あ、アブラウル、アルブラギだ。おい、ナイスナイスネフェン怖いよ
One more shot
before
full reload on the Kraber. He's gonna miss it. It's just the R99. He's getting pushed completely. It's up to Nani now to swing back, but I think Gilderson's gonna
めちゃめちゃ惜しかった。
in a 1v1. And oh my goodness! It's Nani who wins it for Land.
Oh my goodness だよ、さすがに。いや、NRG 勝ったと思った今。
Bro, Naughty is just
アルブラブラブラナイスクレーバー。
insane. Probably one of the best players that I think could have been on
何もない
that
時の
Animals
塞がれて
team.
る
We
と
saw
何も
Nocturnal
ない時
talking
って
about
壁壊れた状態で補強した状態
especially that what the
網網だけの時ってこと
TSM as they fall.
でも燃やされない
Not able to put something together here, and they're only going to have 2 more maps after this.
片方内開き片方外開きだわ
MLS
あれはね罠
This barometer zone is going to be absolutely brutal, but the fact of the matter is the team that was
確かに燃やさ
mirroring
れないような気
TSM's
もするな
rotation, and instead of pushing into the nut, they took that bridge. That's going to be not
やってみる
enough.
か
Royalists
今日のランク
go.
カタリスト
They
使お
were
うか
able
な
to get
めっ
through
ちゃ増えそうじゃない
into the
今日のラン
next
クこれ見た
by
後みん
just
な
playing that bridge and rotating in under the guise of the Bangalore smoke.
Unbelievable. NRG, TSM fall just like that. Lanimals fall as well, and it's Dark Zero.
これ終わったら寝るかランクするか悩
Spanner in the
む
works. Didn't expect that. After not stabilized, but then again, so much damage. Trying to re-stabilize after a fight is so close. A 1v1, just a few inches of health left. It's usually very difficult to do, especially in a lobby that moves this quickly. It feels like you can't step a toe to the right or left without getting seer scanned here. That is this meta. Players giving us their opinion
ス
on
ナイ
it.
プダウンって
By the way,
さ
it's
ウィング
difficult
マン
to
の
play
人
by, especially if you do not have
うまっ
a lot of room to go. Vaxlon though.
うまっ
Shots with the bow.
もうちょっと
One
左だ
more. It's a good game. It's a good left. He knows he shot someone nearby. He's
もうちょっと左だ
firing. He's going right now. He is so
いいいい
close to
フラグかも
grenades
しれん
to
そ
give him
れ
the information he needs, but can he follow up on it?
Ooh, okay, they're trying to hit it back. He's able to grab them for 70 flesh. It's going to connect, and now he's able to toss the bow check, but not before getting peppered from above. Picks up a rampage, not able to get himself a mag or anything, but was able to get a sight, so that's going to pull at least that. He's going to go back in for a little bit more, plenty of ammo, so really setting themselves up for that end game. But 100 Thieves currently 6th overall on the day, picking up 3 eliminations thus far. 10 squads left. As we look to
正規は
move
どっかに
just
ドア
a
ない
little bit further to the left of Barometer, Scurry looking for a good
これが
dark
少し浮い
veil
てる判定
lineup
で
to
ほら
make their
新しい
move.
貫通した
100 Thieves, fifth place at
貫通するなる
championships
ほ
in
ど
July. Didn't even make the finals when it came to split one playoffs. Their tour for
ラン
redemption
クで
starts
実
now.
践するしか
And
ね
might
え
just start this game. Let's go ahead and do a listen in with 100 Thieves and see if they can pull off a win here. Sponsored by WD Black.
I got a bat. I got a bat. You can see him on
Get
top.
ready to shoot diamonds. You gotta peek right. We gotta contest this. Peek right now.
I just got shot.
They're getting shot too. Get ready to walk up my side. Walk up here now. Walk up
Getting
here.
farmed, they're
I
getting
knocked
farmed.
one out
Ooh.
to Watson. Wait,
Oh,
wait,
you gotta
wait,
clear.
wait.
Anyone, another bangle, another bangle. We gotta go up, we gotta go up, we gotta go up, we gotta go up.
Yes,
Take this spot, take this spot,
Take the spot, yes. Take the spot, get space. Team on height still. Team on height. Take the spot, get space.
We need, okay, we're gonna need to wipe over here. We need to wipe over here.
They're picking. I'm nading it.
Push it, push it,
I'm
push it.
scanning for you.
Push together, push together.
Yes, push
Push,
together.
push, push.
Give us a cue to peek.
Peek. No. Careful. I'm fighting.
You're good.
Fight him. Careful, don't let him slide across. On me, you're peeking on him.
I'm coming. We're fine. Back to there's still teams over here. Yes. I got that.
They're gonna peek on you.
Can we wipe above maybe? The team's still on height. In on height still too.
Look for ults.
Oh.
Look for ults. Take this.
Popping.
Can we wipe?
Jump off. Come to me. I'm gonna get a scan here.
Turn on.
Got one.
Wipe this guy.
One shot.
You want me to
Got
come
him. I'm coming out. One team. Player.
I'm front.
Reload.
これラストじゃん。え
Peek it, fuck.
おーしかもジェンだったじゃないこれ、ダークセロ。
Look, you have ult, so? You have ult?
わからん。
No ult.
I'm swinging right.
One's on our left. On me. I hit him 20.
I'm crawling
Yeah.
back to you guys.
No sniper ammo.
They can't, they don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Crawl back to this, crawl back to this.
You can put right here.
Yep.
Look, you know watch.
Yeah.
To your right.
I'm sticking it. Fuck, man. Oh.
よーあるぞ
You got this.
ないか惜しい。
You just on your own. We needed to play our wall. We play our wall. We're good.
スボ畑いい畑だ。
Oh my goodness! And last man standing.
何が起こってるなって感じだったな。なんか
Dark Zero, say hello to North America yet again with their first win. But what a play from 100 Thieves to make it a challenge. Catalyst on full display, and Tiff and Vicky specifically coming back after watching that. So close for Scurry to clutch that, but what a play too from Dark Zero to get the dub.
That was crazy. That was insane. Did you hear the comms too? I love those end games of the comms talking about what they could have done differently.
Yeah.
That's something that we all do coming out of playing Apex. Thinking about what you could be doing better. Playing around the wall is what you heard at the very end from 100 Thieves. But still, they got 6 KP. They got second place. Dark Zero, they needed that game. This is a team that definitely excels on Storm Point. They were 17th overall in the overall leaderboards before jumping into this game right now. That probably did them justice. They're probably in the top 5 at the moment after having not just that dub, but an insane game.
And I mean, Tiff, just that last moment, it could have gone either way.
Oh, that was tough. I'm looking at Vaxlon in particular. He's holding that angle with the Mastiff, right? He's sitting there waiting to see if someone's gonna walk around that corner, doubles down, grabs the thermite. The moment he's deciding to switch it over, that's when Dark Zero decides to enact that push, and you just kind of get caught there. You can't do anything. And that split-second decision kind of lost them out on Vaxlon, and it's tough, right? You sit there and you can analyze so many different ways that they can approach it, but I think getting there and pushing into that, I think that was so smart for them. It's just like a couple little misplays that I think that they're going to think about now for the next 10 minutes before getting into the next game, but I don't think you can kind of harp on that. I think you have to focus.
No.
GG go next. We did so good. We got second. We picked up 6 eliminations. We know we're doing right to get into the end game.
And it's scary too because Dark Zero, when they get into end games, when they're in a top 5 situation, they win a lot of those situations. It's can they get there? Can they get to the top 5? So 100 Thieves going against some of the best of the best in terms of closing out these final moments. That's why they've been so good on match point. That's why they've got 2 land trophies out of 3. So that is one thing to consider. 100 Thieves making even a mistake had a chance at that end with Scurry. Probably 2-3 bullets away from securing that win, even as a 2v3 with Dark Zero. So that was pretty impressive. And I think, Vic, looking at that game too, 2 teams that we kind of said, where are you? It's time to maybe step up, have a game if you're going to start taking control of the narrative today. Both of them stepped up there.
It did, and they did, and Drug Free didn't do so hot on Storm Point either. They went down really early, and that's a team that we were looking at to see if they could continue on the consistency, taking 2 dubs back to back for game 1 and 2 on World's Edge, now making the transition onto Storm Point. So you have to think about their mental too for the teams that maybe got, that confidence, that feeling of confidence now that they're leading the overall scoreboard that is closing the gap right now with FaZe right behind them.
And I have a feeling you guys are going to be able to cast that next kind of early game fight. So I'm curious to watch that when that does happen in game 5 if they go back to it. But let's take a look at that final circle. This time, for everyone watching at home, from Dark Zero's perspective, Tiff, walk us through this, because this is the first time we'll be able to see what Dark Zero saw in that fight.
Good to know that Dark Zero's got a Kraber, 5 bullets to their name. That Dark Veil's going to go out. You heard 100 Thieves in their comm saying we should have played around the wall, right? We should have played around that. But a couple missteps, starting with Vaxon, getting that early kind of picked off. So I'm curious to see how we approach it from Dark Zero's perspective. They're kind of death falling together. Here comes the exhibit. They're able to try and navigate around that. It's really smart to kind of get rid of that piercing spikes and try to acknowledge, but the swing on that, they were trying to get the res, and it cost 2 of their life. But Scurry able to just throw down some immense damage, and it didn't even seem like it was a bullet that took down them. It was the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, and also I gotta say, I didn't even in that clip see where Vaxon went down. It was on the right side. I don't think Zero's perspective caught it. They did look like they were scrambling a bit. I mean, if you look at
日本の方はさ、30チームいるから A 対 B、B 対 C、A 対 C とかやるけどさ、こっちどうなんだ？
Sharky, Jim Burton felt like they kind of just walked into a good
戦
situation,
の
and
やり
that
方が
goes
わ
to
から
show
ねえ。
sometimes it may feel like a masterclass on one side, it might be a disaster on the other side, and that's why it looks so good, and vice versa. It might look really good on the other side, and it looks even better on the other side. So that's one of those things that we have to consider. You got to have both perspectives to put it all into perspective. And for the points, well, let's go look at them. After 4, it's going to be Dark Zero with a beautiful win here. 25 points, 13 kills. Now that's coming back into the mix with 100 Thieves, Glitch, Energy, Complexity, and Team Diverge rounding out the top 5, Vicky.
Yeah, what I'm surprised to see is the second half of this page, because we're about to approach game number 5. This is our middle point right now here for this game 4, our first map on Storm Point. How have the other teams been faring right now? Because it's been a little bit of a shakeup. TSM dropping down early again. They got 1 KP. Lanimals have had this consistency of cleaning up KP. It's the positioning. They haven't been getting the positioning points for these final circles. They keep going down around 11, 12 place out here, but they're getting the KP necessary. NRG as well. Unfortunately, dropping down early right next to Meat Lovers.
Series results in front of you right about now. Drug Free stays in the lead. Can you believe it? Those 2 games making a lot of work. FaZe got the win as well. Tiff and 100 Thieves, Dark Zero bounce back up into the top 5 next to Glitch Energy.
I mean, look, this is pretty exciting, but I think it was, 43 points were attributed to the first 2 games of the day for Drug Free. So I said the same thing with Fire Beavers. You know, they kicked off map number 1 with 30 points over in EMEA, and then they went on to win 3 games in total on EMEA. Drug Free now going to have to win that early game contest down in Fish Farms and Mirage à Trois against AJC if they want to stand a chance at putting some points on the board. And if you want to approach it kind of safely and coast on the points that you've already kind of gotten, like Nocturnal was talking about, then you can't go down on a contest early on.
TSM, Sentinels, Lanimals, 6 points away, both sitting in 12th, 14th, and I believe 16th or maybe 17th position. Not what we would have expected. However, the top 5 looking real good, led by a team no one expected to be there today, Drug Free. They've held on with 4 points in the last 2 games. Another big one could probably set them up to win the day. That would be historic. And guess what? We're going to find out very soon. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, game 5 of day 1 of our ALGS Split 2 coming at you.
チーム数はどこも同じなはず。あ、そうなの？でもここ A 対 B とか B 対 C とか言ってなくない？公式の方も何もそういうツイートなかったんだな。
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Well, Tiff, if it's the official energy drink of the Apex Legends Global Series, why aren't you drinking one right now?
I don't know, because the sugar-free is my favorite, and I would love to be kind of led by just Uncrustables and Monster Energy to kind of send out these casts. Not gonna lie.
I don't think it works unless you're actually chugging a Monster right now on broadcast, and I think everyone's gonna agree with me on that. Vicky, you're no stranger to Monster. You're no stranger to high energy. I think this is a good opportunity for people in the chat and people at home watching to realize high energy moment right now. Games 5, Game 6.
昨日までのツイートにはそんなアナウンス何にもなかった。今日 A 対 B らしいです。
We're getting ready for Game 5. Lobby's loading up. Let's start with you, Tiff. Let's start with you, Vicky. You know, we're going to look at some stats as well from some of these meta. I want you to, take the conversation where you will. What's more interesting to you right now? Some of the team's performances or what we're seeing from a meta perspective? I'll start with you, Tiff.
All of the above. I'm just excited. Look, it's the truth, though. I was not expecting any of this, right? Like, none of this. Look, Dia was tweeting about drug-free earlier. He's like, who would have thought that they were going to take back-to-back on World's Edge? Look, I'm not trying to say that drug-free isn't talented, but just like getting on the world's radar here in this Apex Legends Global Series, a lot of people look towards NA being one of those regions that have a higher caliber level of teams, and you want to know that going into a playoff series at the end of this split, that you are going to have to compete against the best, right? So holding yourselves accountable and seeing teams coming out of the Split 2 qualifiers doing just that, I think it's beautiful. So what I'm looking for these last two games in particular, it's getting out of that 50-50 contest over at Mirage and Fish Farms. And now, you've heard Raven talk about it, I'm sure, Vicky, how you should approach contests, that you can turn it away from not necessarily making it a 50-50. You can turn the tides. And if they're all going to land on Mirage Etoile, start that party, cause some audio clutter, and just get wild with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, also trying to play devil's advocate out here, looking at the second half of the overall standings, what's going on with the teams that we were expecting to perform? Where TSM? Where Lanimals? Where Sentinels? No, for real though, it's wondering here what's going on with the consistency. Is it because these teams that we're seeing at the top end of the leaderboards started off really strong? They have that confidence. Some teams are waking up. Dark Zero, NRG, they're waking up right now. NRG came off of World's Edge pretty strong. Dark Zero started Stormpoint extremely strong. I want to see this consistency though with the teams that are trying to figure things out, experimenting with the meta, come out on top now that we have 2 games left here on Stormpoint.
All right, Game 5 underway. Let's kick it off. Tiff and Vicky lead us into our last 2 games of the day. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. That is definitely the way to put it. With 2 maps left, 2 Stormpoint adventures, Vicky, it is a matter of time before we can witness who's going to walk away as your match day #1 victors. And I think back to who potentially had won match day #1 in the regular split. That was going to be TSM. They had 2 wins on match day #1 and had taken the win by 4 points over the former team Atlanta Premier, now Oxygen Esports.
Actually crazy to see how these stats have been able to rack up for some of these other squads. Coming in, free, of course. This is a team that we've been talking about a lot, but they've been quiet, like you mentioned, the last 2 games. I think Game 3, they only secured like 4 points. Last game, obviously, one of the earlier squads to go down. Now time to see this potential contention that we saw earlier on, and it is still happening right now, Tiff.
The fact that they are electing to go straight on 3v3 What a massive battle. You just need to come out on top for this. I feel like we're in kind of a training arc of an anime here, and you just gotta withstand the battlegrounds that is Mirage à Trois. But you gotta think about AJC. They kind of got fed up at one point, and they essentially tried to isolate the Seer character of Drug Free, and they had a R9 in hand and just kind of pushed them. But now it looks as if Drug Free is going to potentially bring that fight to them. Not Nuts going to get tagged up, does have an alternator and PK, which isn't necessarily horrible for this contest.
Oh, they get the first knock here. Drug Free having the lead. You can see the reset from Saucer as he pops that shield bat. They give up the high ground. They drop all the way down. But Drug Free already looking a lot stronger here. Impulse has the triple take and the wingman in hand. See if he can get a nice cheeky out. He drops down. He's on the Valk. He can just fly up if he needs to, but he needs to prevent the rest from coming out.
Oh yeah, I don't think that res is gonna happen, and they might as well just utilize something to go ahead and put the nail in the coffin there. And now you've just gotta look for the final two members. I feel like you kind of go ahead and pick up this KP because they did it to you in map number 4. Just do it right back to them. And something that I thought was really interesting, Vicky, that I was like kind of just interested by, Fire Beavers. You got 9 Impulse tweeting out, hey, I won the first game of Pro League 2 as well because NA, because Impulse on Drug Free, and I was just like, yeah, Fire Beavers, and I was like, wait a second, are just Impulses that much more talented?
It has to be the name buff. Yeah. The name buff today for day 1, I don't know, it carries on a legacy out here and it transcends through regions. And Drug Free now can take a breather. Yeah, got that one pick KP. They'll let them run away. We know who lands usually at launch.
犬は日月だな。日月みたいな感じで。来週の日終わったらその次はもう月曜日しかない。ミラーセとしては来週の日曜日かな。
AJC are waiting to see if they could recover that banner. I mean, right now, with Drug Free going inside the armory, there's nobody really looking and staking out the banner, so maybe they could have that chance underneath the armory.
I mean, you look at the overarching map here, 2 members of Drug Free inside the IMC armory. Asura kind of just rotating throughout fish farms, looting the buildings. So, yes, they could go back and decide to grab that, sure. At least they're not necessarily camping the banner underneath. But think of how just in the open it is, sitting underneath the Mirage à Trois. You'd have to be very, very quick and nimble about it.
Especially someone who's still up and alive right now. Nice to note. Some early contention right now happening in Stormpoint. Complexity out. We can see the overall squads left. We can see where the circle's also going to be pulling over to the west side right now. Look how contested the north side of Mill and Down Beast is. We have seen circles pull towards the fence line on the south side of Down Beast, but sometimes rotating there is very scary. You'll get yourself pinched, especially if you don't have a bunker down character. I can imagine the likes of CLG feeling pretty comfy there now that Mamba's made also the swap over to the Catalyst. AGC losing out on the Valkyrie, though. You highlighted it perfectly. Out in the open underneath that armory, you do have Boat still alive, at least with the smoke grenades. Oriolis also still alive here, too. Gonna be able to get that scan, but time is of the essence as we tune into the other side by Down Beast. It's Sentinels making their rotation, getting pinged by a charge rifle. I wouldn't be surprised if that's Sweet in the distance.
Ooh, Sweet, an absolute nuisance with that charge rifle, but I mean, it doesn't even matter. You can find your information, you can look through like Sentinels. They're going to focus on prioritizing their rotation, taking to the sky to try and avoid all the poking and pressure from Down Beast, but Rambo just getting annihilated, falling incredibly low, and at that point, I feel like if the Valk is going to fall low, you want everyone on your team to kind of separate away from you, because if you're all connected to the Valk and the Valk gets knocked, you're going to fall. But Keon instead is the one that's going to get prodded from Guild at a distance with the Nemesis.
Nemesis. Nemesis
got a little too close to the rock to his left, which is what slowed down the momentum of the skyward dive before it had to reset. Now they're playing split up. Energy is trying to capitalize. Yeah, we'll get off from the high ground. We got a knock already. We know that they're playing split up here too. We know that there's other teams in the distance, so they could just try to scoop up the rest of Sentinel's teammates here, as Energy are just going to be able to hold back. It's Sweet that doesn't have the charge rifle, but he's got the flatline and the R9 in his hand. It's going to be Nathan on the high ground that has a charge rifle instead to get some extra information for the teams rotating from the north side, specifically TSM that was already in the middle of rotating away from the wall.
That's my charge rifle, a nice purple stock with a 4x8. chef's kiss. If I'm gonna hold it, that is what I want to have on it. So Nathan doing work from top of Down Beast, but it's TSM that has made their way just underneath and has been continuously on their rotating path. The last we saw for them, they were just making their way into North Pad, so they are on that fast trajectory by foot.
Just waiting it out, patiently making the rotation. TSM. Only team ahead of them right now is NRG, right next to Down Beast. There's teams taking their time to rotate into that next circle that want to take advantage of the replicators. Thinking about Lanimals that have actually been slowing down their own gameplay. Rather aggressive team now, playing more by the edge currently on the north side where no other teams are. TSM gets scanned by that survey beacon. Team getting all the information to see who's within the vicinity right now.
Well, I mean, the fact is they've made it into a building on the outskirts. Now are going to be able to hold out any team that wants to try and make their rotation towards that building. But 100 Thieves whipping the trident around, getting a little whiskey. There is some crafting up ahead. They do have one med kit available to them and 25 crafting materials. So, I mean, you could pop yourself a med kit in the replicator should you decide to need it and go for the long haul because you're pretty far out of trying to make it in, so I think that's what we might see. Maybe some battery refreshes on.
Be nice to see if they can craft up some extra Evo shields there too after making the rotation on the Trident. Now that we get to go for an overlook of Down Beast, NRG are in such a good position. Look at Sweet Spot. Lanimals could isolate him, and NRG is going to have to forcibly give him suppressed fire. You can see the pings now going down by Guild. He's got the Nemesis in hand, and Lanimals, Lou, falling incredibly low. He puts down the portal. ネメシスってワードが聞こえるたびにネメシスの悪口言ってるんじゃないかなってちょっと
I mean, this is typically what I've seen happen in scrims. Lou does take a lot of that damage early, often getting isolated by himself. And that's okay, right? Utilizing Wraith to go ahead and move forward, scout placement, try to get a cheeky LOS and maybe cause a little bit of disruption in your pushes. But something that they've been really good at doing is having clear comms. Lou giving that initial call outs, Alb kind of going in for those counter calls and trying to provide some insight as well. And you just really have to trust each other, and their ability to reset has been impeccable. The fact of the matter is we just haven't necessarily seen it pan out here on Pro League just yet. And that was the biggest question I had moving out of scrims. It was, how is that going to pan out? They've been working with Alex as their analyst and kind of coach.
ねえ、もう無理なんだけど。やばすぎる。
come in strong, but they are going to learn a lot from this. Now, mind you, this team is still incredibly new together. Lou coming back from kind of taking a little bit of time off, and you just got to think like it's going to happen. They're going to put some things together.
Yeah, especially with their performance in scrims too. I think that's important to know because that's why we've had our eyes on this team. That's why not actually mentioning this team here too. It's a good point to see. Oh, nice little nice little point to see how Animals have right now. TSM on the other half too, sitting in 18 overall, only 10 points their name after 4 games. Now that we approach the 5th game right now, look at this off angle that Hal's holding. Tosses out the Rolling Thunder currently as Lanimals are looking to fully send it. Burgos is by himself inside this building. Right behind him is going to be
やっぱ押す方が強いんだよな。
Arc Stars coming in and Naughty just trying to duck and dive and withstand Lou. You can see how they have to dance around the moment they want to utilize Wraith's tactical, and that's because that slight delay, you've got to try and go into the matrix and avoid that happening. Sure, they're able to grab that finish onto Verholz, but it's a Vexis over there as well that's going to take down House. So there's a multitude of teams here that are kind of causing havoc, and Lanimals being able to play the inside of this building and out is going to keep them in cover.
Basically funneling them into where we were talking about is super congestion right now. North side of Mill. Look at this as well. On the other side, drug-free gets eliminated. The second squad to go down in this lobby. That's going to be huge because that overall leaderboard is closing up on them. Even though they start really strong here, really haven't gotten much going after those first 2 games. CCE now making the move though, moving over to the other side. 18 squads left, and TSM are down those 2 members as well over on the other side of Down Beast.
Well, you gotta think
やってる人がね言うのはいいんだよ。その今プレイして打たれた人が言うのはいいけど、別に見ててそこまでかって。やっぱキモいねぐらいなのかな。
of the ring, IMC Armory to their left, and they've got a mountain to their back. You can kind of Still make
そう
sure
ね
that you're
ガチな感じではないだ
focusing
ろう
on
ね
keeping that back clear and focusing forward. CCE in the distance trying to kind of take a little bit of engagement with FaZe, but they need to prioritize that rotation because they're going to get gate kept.
Let's see where they're going to end up going here. FaZe, a team that also has been pretty consistent today. Really coming through, sitting in the top 3. 2 points away from Glitch Energy, who have also been finding themselves in the top 3, top 5, cleaning up some KP. CCE, though, the opposite could be said. They're unfortunately sitting at the very bottom of the overall standings, 20th place with 3 points to their name. So that's why you see them playing a little bit more patiently. I think a bit of an aggressive comp here, though, so it works out in their favor when it comes to trying to contest these other edge teams. But it's about the material that they're also working with, the loot, rather, between the flatline and the car. He's got the 2x scope on that flatline. See him trying to make moves to see where they're going to be pinging, where they want to go, if they maybe want to try to contest this here, too.
The moves I see are the initial charge rifle knock, that like 3 to 9 damage that gets initially hit, followed by the boom. You're trying to dodge that, but Optic over here on the north side, just on the outskirts of the down beast, you've got Glory kind of operating the rooftop on top of them. You can see Native in the other building on the outskirts of the right. So teams that have made their way into this zone, it can be incredibly challenging based upon where it's going to pull. Will it kind of encompass that outer northern edge of the mill, just kind of a little tidbit of it? Meanwhile, look at Frex popping off in the elims right there. 100 thieves going out.
That's huge for FaZe. That probably gave him enough points not to secure second place.
いい車逃亡です。挟まっちゃった。
Okay, who's driving right now? You gotta get out of here. A bit of a tricky
ドライバーのテクニックがエグすぎる。
They still have quite a distance to move through. So the question is, are they gonna transcend through this open ground with the water? Alright, they're sending out the
エカシさんにもらったやつかな。ポートワインチョコレートはバレンタインにもらった。
Oh, that was so close. They managed to get away. I think that may be Glory. We saw them on the high ground originally here too, but now opting to just go right back, reset. But they have to watch out with the other squad that's still trying to pin them down, that has the Mad Maggie.
This is going to be a rather tough rotation for FaZe. You saw them already utilize that Dark Veil. You know it's got a 2-minute cooldown, despite we're not sure if they have any ult excels and if they're going to be hitting that. Snipe down does have the Skyward Dive, which is a great backup to kind of focus on knowing that they have a lot of resistance. They need to jump over that and find a free spot. But speaking of resistance, they were able to get Keon back into the game here for Sentinels, but they've lost out on RKN. And now Keon and Rambo are forced to navigate this as a duo, but TSM is also out.
Officially, that's huge. Going out so early once again. It's important to note. We gotta talk about it out here. Very unfortunate. Sentinels also get eliminated. A team that was having a really rough start to this game. They survived a lot longer than we were expecting, considering the fact that they were split up at the very beginning of their Skyward Dive initiation to rotate into the next circle. They were pinged by NRG earlier. They get finished off. NRG is still frying. AJC, the squad that was able to finish off TSM with Reps being the last one alive, they're able to get taken down right now too. While FaZe is going to hold on to this building and the Seer exhibition goes up, let's jump into a listening with FaZe to see what their next moves are going to be.
I'm watching this swing. I'm watching this swing.
I'm scanning. Missed my scan. They're all there. They're all there still.
Yeah. I'm just chilling here.
Can you throw a Q on it? Can you throw a Q on it?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Are they on the door?
They're right outside.
Yes, they're right outside it.
失敗も待って、やばい。
Southeast somewhere.
いっぱい詰め込まなきゃだ。
2-5.
0-4.
Yes, they ran southeast. They ran southeast.
Give me one bat, please.
Listen, I need to play aggressive. Can you guys play double bottom floor and just like watch the doors? I need to see if this fucking what we can do.
Do you want me to
on this door?
I was speaking over here.
I did. You want me to grab this door? You want me to grab that door?
Yeah, I'd rather you grab the door, to be honest.
Okay. I don't have the middle door. I don't have the middle door.
いいね、
Just hold second floor door. Just hold it.
Yeah, I am. Snipe, be careful.
Hey, there was a guy like right outside my door. I hear him, or he's on my roof. I can't tell. It's really close.
I don't know. Just let Phony do his thing over there. Okay.
I'm thinking. You're good.
Chill for a second. I have wall again. But
Phony, what's your meds?
It's 3 bats, 4 cells. We need a bank on another Valkyrie, or else we have to just clear this team across.
I'm not gonna have Valkyrie. I'm
he's
at
not gonna
67.
have it. He's not gonna.
Draw me a bat. Draw me a bat.
Can we look to try to fight this team across, maybe? Can we just all triple swing this and then come back if things go to bad?
We need to break this fence.
Swing it. Valk! Dead!
No.
Reset!
I'm batting.
Can you cancel it?
No, I'm trying to.
They have Cyril. I can't wall this.
I canceled it. Look at that.
Fuck,
I'm going in.
You canceled it.
Okay.
I'm
I'm swinging for middle, swinging for middle.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm nading.
Nice nade.
I'm throwing nades.
いいぞいいぞ。
Here, this guy has one. No.
You can do this. Snipe. Look for a snipe.
Behind you. The guy's low. He armor swapped. He died. All dead.
Reset.
入れられていく。
Fuck, man. Was there another team or did I
Yeah,
just get
Valko?
fucking...
No, you just got rolled. Yeah,
I
Valko.
just got fucking
I
baited,
don't
bro.
know. I have it now.
Alright, we need to look for it. Pop a med kit if anything.
You should give me armor, I think.
Yeah, Valko.
walled,
Yeah,
they
Valko.
walled.
There's Valko here. Valko on this left side. Valko on this left side, right here.
I have it right here. Right here. This is where we have to go.
You're good. No. You're good, bro. Nah,
ダメ
nice try.
か。
Hey, boys, that's not a bad game. That's
Yeah, that was
it
was a good call to play for that KP.
Yeah.
Falling down like paperweight at the same time. They get set down after using
Agree.
the dive. I love the combo. You're healthy. He was literally one shot. You gotta believe it. NRG now moving in, playing on the edge of the circle. They clean up. CCE who was playing on the other side of the edge. So much action happening now that there's 7 squads left.
Yeah, pulling Guild off low, but now moving on to the Catalyst. Quite
おー、
interesting here
シルビーパンダがあんな
for
ところに。
NRG, and is going to be mission critical for them to potentially navigate a next rotation into this
許されんかったな、
northern area,
さすがにな。
outside of Mill. But look at your map 4 winners. Dark Zero sitting really pretty inside that building that is just looking towards the north of NRG. Glory has been holding this rooftop area, capitalized by the walking Jenny and the fences to kind of show some presence and really keep people from pushing out on their roof.
Off the gaming, also on the other side, playing on the low ground right now. Dark Zero, like you mentioned, still alive. NRG just came out on top after that fight. They've been fragging out since they made their way on the top of Down Beast. Guild alone with that charge was putting in the work. Sweet, unfortunately though, getting taken down. Let's see what NRG could do to bring him right back in. They're just gonna allow this to happen. Dark Zero, if they push, they're gonna get put into the line of sight of the 2 other teams that are inside the building right next to them, unless the wall helps actually secure them. There's insurance, and they're just actually gonna play this positioning. NRG's gonna be able to get Sweet right back in.
I mean, talk about prioritizing positioning. You got Team Diverge nestled between a rock and a hard place, just biding their time and letting the other teams fight before they decide to kind of make a move into the third party. Sweet holding back, still not moving in. You've got Dark Zero has already made a play for that next building. Nathan and Guild mirrored the rotation Dark Zero was able to have, but Sweet hasn't necessarily made that happen.
He was
able to get that shield swap so quick though, and with the Dark Veil coming in now, the wall's gonna give NRG some time to breathe, some time to reset. That was a huge big brain play too, because Sweet saw the moment that Dark Zero rotated outside that building, that was their space to play from. Glory now have the high ground advantage with the Nemesis, but he's got 88 bullets in the reserve.
Oh, dude, walking it in with the
able
to grab a knock on to AJ. That's beautiful. Sure, Sharky is able to trade it out and get one on Nathan, and it's going to be an absolute onslaught. We have 6 squads remaining here. Dark Zero going to fall. Native Gaming still alive. NRG, Team Diverge, and some Glory holding that high ground positioning. Do not drop down yet. Just try to find some KP.
Protectful is beaming down here with the Nemesis. I have the high ground now, and he's going to continue on with his domination. I mean, he can just fly right back up. He hears the fighting happening underneath him, but he doesn't want to risk it without having a digi threat and finding the bang smokes right underneath his feet.
It's challenging. Also does have at least 110 bullets, so that'll be more than enough for an endgame situation. 5 squads remaining, and that creeping barrage really getting that re-knock onto Nathan. Just energy falling apart, trying to keep their dreams alive on that fence line. So look at all the smoke. Sweet, able to get a shield back on. Not necessarily regenerating health just yet, but Native Gaming going to have to start moving in 6 seconds. You see that ring pull is going to pull them directly to the water.
This is insane right now. NRG playing off the little sliver of cover that this fence line provides. Native has them in their sights. Glory has them in their sights. They want to finish down this knocked player just in case there's any gold knockdowns that they can res with. They finish off that one player. Creeper Barrage coming in, taking care of Nathan. Native Gaming now trying to rotate on the other side without putting themselves in the line of sight of these other 2 squads that not only have the high ground, but the squads over on the other side of this building on the low ground.
Yo, but peep that optic making an early rotation, the Dark Veil out, trying to keep them some cover and force the fight to maintain for all the other teams on the outskirts, and they should be able to clean up shop as soon as that building is outside of the zone. But Glory trying to maintain height, because you talk about that Dark Veil, 8 meters in height. You should be able to try and find an LOS above that. Now imagine Protectful if they could find some early damage had they had some
curtain 切れた時の絶望感えぐいよな。
After 30 seconds, they are all out in the open. Glory dropping down from the rooftop, and it is going to be all on out for here.
Oh, you get a knock, you get a knock, everybody gets a knock out here. 3 squads left, Native Gaming get taken out, and it's Glory versus Optic Gaming, who played behind that cat all for so long. Trade for trade right now, though, playing up the knockdown shield. What do you have in store here? You can't...
嫌なフェンスだすげえ嫌だねそのフェンスビリビリビリやばいめっちゃ眠たい
Talk about one of the most disgusting plays I have seen in my entire life. Congratulations to Glory for taking the map 5 victory. They played it so patiently, biding their time on that rooftop just to the north side of the mill, and I mean, it paid off.
They were there for so long. They held on top of the roof, which is extremely important with their team composition. The Watson helped drastically prevent Bangalore coming in, forcing them off the high ground, prevent the spam of nades to come in their direction, or even a missile storm to finish things off if they were low at any point.
右の後ろなんか表情がいいよね。一言一言の重みが。
Energy to also get the reset, despite there also being a squad on the low ground. That was important to put in the pressure, not just in front of them, but to the side too, with all the chaos happening from underneath those bang smokes.
Yeah, I really loved the calls coming out of Sweet and the team there at NRG, making that move to mirror kind of Dark Zero's rotation. They saw them leave the building, so they stepped forward into the building that Dark Zero was previously occupying, utilizing the Dark Veil, that cat wall, to hit the rotation on closer into the next zone, but playing that fence. And it's really challenging, right? Because sometimes when a member of NRG will go down, Sweet will be like, hey, yo, this is great. We can play the knockdown. And sometimes it's better to have that knockdown shield if you've got a purple one with all of the health associated with that, so the 2 members of NRG can kind of pivot behind that. But there was just really nowhere for them to go with such an open-ended game, especially what we see in Stormpoint. Anytime you have to pull out to the water, out into the open, and a lot of these teams not utilizing something that's going to have them find success. Optic, you know, that Dark Veil helped them for 30 seconds, but the moment it went down, it was an all-out bloodbath.
Yeah, they basically looked around like, all right, well, we're out in the open with no cover, no rocks, no building to hide behind, other than the knockdown shield being the saving grace. Glory, on the other hand, they had a whole building and a rooftop to work with before they were forced down to get involved in their fight. So the PK shots coming in, Glory definitely needed that right there, and it's nice that they were able to close out that game because before that game, I think they were sitting in 19th in the end part of the overall standings. So that's going to be a great game for them to come out on top. I believe they also secured like 8 KP by the end of that.
Something that's really good to note is if you feel like you can get a win here in a stacked lobby as such, it can really boost your confidence moving forward. So I think that is something that we need to look at. You may not immediately look at the list of 20 teams that are playing in the lobby and be like, oh, they're going to win. It's like, no, they just won. They've shown you that they know how to do it. And now it's doing it again and again. And then just all of these early game fights, I thought it was really great. Glad to see Drug Free pick up an initial KP off that contestant, then electing to move forward. Granted, they still went out a little earlier than I would have liked, but the moves from FaZe, with their rotations, trying on the Trident, Vicky, it not panning out, having your backup plan.
Yeah, very unfortunate right there. Away from the Trident. They got stuck a little bit. They were pinned between 2 squads. This was the moment. The skyward dive into the arms of NRG. They lost out on Sweet, though, in this fight, but they were quickly able to get right back in with the mobile respawn. Nobody could do anything about it. Dark Zero did take a look at them, but they already made the rotation outside of the one building that was giving them cover, basically opening up that rotation to NRG, which inevitably also caused their demise because they were playing up the low ground. Meanwhile, Glory was having a field day on the top of the roof with the Nemesis.
I mean, look, that's the best way to do it. Glory finally
また悪口言ったかネメシスの
down, and I thought it was really interesting that
まだ悪口言ってる？まあ、全然ガルルネメシス好きじゃないから別にいいけど。ネメシスおもんな消せ言うとるかもしれんな。
8 eliminations for Glory, 20 points on that game, but let's talk about Optic. They made it towards that end game as well, 11 points, but only 2 coming from eliminations. And then Native Gaming picking up 9 eliminations. Absolutely beautiful throughout that end game.
そこまで言ってない。おもんな消せは言ってない。日本で流行ったようにね、ハッシュタグネメシス消せ、ネメシスおもんな消せみたいな流行るかなと思って。
It kind of sets the stage for the type of rotations that some of these teams are forced to play. NRG, they started off incredibly strong on down beast. They were putting in the pressure. They finished off with 8 KP. But something that I am still surprised to see, Tiff, on the other side of this page, look who we have here.
Oh man, TSM is howling. I don't know, I'll have to leave it to Twitch chat to tell me, but I just feel as if you heard it from Nasky talking about their performance and how they were so unhappy with the way things were moving for KCP, and then they knew that they never wanted to feel like that again. I can't imagine TSM is going to let another day like this bounce back. Granted, it's consistency, it's a series, there's 8 other match days after this. If they can just throw down a 25-point game in match number 6 just to do a little bit of damage, let's go ahead and see the series results and see how that would pan out for them.
There we go. Okay, look at FaZe though coming out, and look at the overall top 5 leaderboard, Tiff. This is crazy. I mean, top 4 in general is so close. That 7-point difference between NRG and Glitch Energy still staying consistent out here. Drug Free, they were at 40-something points after those first 2 games. They've been pretty quiet since then. FaZe, though, on the other hand, has stayed consistent. 50 points. They went from, I believe, 3rd before that 5th game, all the way now back to up to 1st. So even though there's not a huge gap between themselves and Drug Free, this is still a great way to end game number 5 to kind of set up the stage for game number 6 on how they should play.
Well, that's what I've got my eyes set on. It's going to be game number 6. But first, we're going to cut to a quick break. But don't go anywhere. Maybe grab some popcorn, get some hydration, because when we come back, our final match of the day for North America.
あ、おかえり。人気工事が入るので登場するとナイス。ポップコーン？な、ポップコーンって。そう。
Welcome back. We could not wait any longer to bring you match number 6, so we just had to have just the most minimal break humanly possible. But welcome back, guys. It is game number 6 about to be underway for the North American match day number 1. I'm Spider-Tiff, that's Vicky Kitty, and this is the map rotation in the history thus far that we've experienced. Vicky, I mean, drug-free kicking it off with the 2 map wins on World's Edge. FaZe coming in and rounding out that last map on World's Edge, but then it was Dark Zero and Glory kind of taking home 2 victories there for Stormpoint. What do we have in store for us for game number 6?
Honestly, I want to see some shakeup in this leaderboard because it is looking so close within the top 3 already. FaZe stayed consistent, leaving World's Edge into Storm Point. I believe it was game 4. They got 7th place, but they obtained 6 KP to their name, or rather 3 KP to their name, which gave them 6 points. So FaZe being in that number 1 spot, but not by far, with Drug Free right behind them by 2 points. It's been insane so far. Now we get to see our drop spots here for our final game. I'm expecting to see that early 50 like we have been seeing in Mirage 12.
Ooh, look where that circle is going to be favoring. I'm looking straight towards Checkpoint and NRG. Optic going to be rotating out of down B, so shouldn't be too bad for them as well. And you've got Meat inside of Cascade and TSM extending out throughout the wall. You can... Ooh,
やっぱ最後の戦うんだね。
Where everyone's going to be rotating towards for that zone. It is the live and die fight by Mirage Atois. Can Drug Free make it out of this contest once again? Because mind you, they want to find themselves at the top of the leaderboard on match day number 1.
He's playing this like they're on the other side of Team Deathmatch right now, facing off in this 3v3. Drug Free on the high ground.
アリーナの時もこういう戦いあったけど、めっちゃ嫌いだわ。船上の戦い。
An incoming Arcstar, but not going to do any real damage. Sure, Impulse gets tagged up a little bit, but Sura from above deals a nice 115, swaps to the alternator. They need to capitalize, but as soon as the real damage starts to go under AJC, they drop off of Mirage and just start dipping out. But Impulse is trying to find an angle, and Saucerer says, I'm going down. I've got a wingman. I'm going to hit my shots, I promise.
He's alone. He's alone. They're wrapping up around him. Nobody from Drug Free can help him in this position. They're holding off angles, and with the Bangler smoke, they were able to now even up the playground right here. Saucer, unfortunately, knock means that Impulse is going to just disengage, stay on the high ground with the Sora.
That is really rather unfortunate, and AJC has already made it to that next building where they're going to find health, potential shield swaps, and just basically disengage. If I'm AJC at this point, I want to continue on my life. I want to play my game. I don't want to let it go on out here. At this point, chalk the 30-30 contest here. 30-30. What's my math? 50-50, bro.
何をしに来たんだ。逃げれてなかったのか、一人。
33.
That's how you know when they're trying to wrap around. That's also how you know when a fight is taking way too long. Like this one is right here. Nobody's coming in to contest them, but FaZe easily can if they wanted to kind of take their time to rotate outside of their usual rotation, get involved in this fight. Nice crack with the 30-30. AJC now trying to play off the little side. Bangalore smoke coming out as well, trying to reposition. Ooh, nice though, follow up with the Nemesis and the Thermite grenade taking the damage.
Talk about a no-fly zone at this point. If I'm a Sura,
上がってくるぞ。
like I'm thinking my match day as a whole, right? I don't want to go out now because I want to make sure that I'm only just a few points outside of the number 1 spot. But AJC is not going to let them have it. You have a 16th place team going up against the 2nd place team overall on the day.
He was already low, all thanks to Goat, who left him low. Nice follow-up out here, which means Drug Free probably won't hold on to their top 3 spot for long, being the first squad to go down in this final lobby. They had a really strong start, Tiff, but unfortunately, they're going to be the first squad to go down here on Storm Point.
Bro, Vicky, bro, if I'm like for top 3 on the day, I'm gonna land somewhere else. I'm gonna take the back of Fish Farms, bro. I'm not gonna go up on Mirage Atois. It's not that deep. I don't care. I can find some different weapons on Fish Farms and maybe rotate out and hit IMC Armory and get my smart loot. But enough of that. They're down and out. AJC has won it once again 2 times here on Storm Point for that contest. But 100 Thieves have made their way into Cascades, getting those crafting materials and looking to hit the replicator, maybe work on leveling up those shields, getting some well-needed bats, because, you know, we've got a long haul. It seems as if a lot of the teams are making their way over to the space just south of North Pad.
Meanwhile, on the feed, Sharky with the charge rifle, still remaining a menace out here. Not only building up those Evo shields, but finding the knock And we're building up the fences in this building, making sure that we have all the space in the world. It's Optic Gaming on the other side of the building too. Not with their own walls and fences, but they got the catalyst again here. Drop getting some extra information and a nice gold nemesis to work with.
I mean, look, that's not a bad looting progress there. If you were gonna find some fun things over in Down Beast, a gold nemesis is something that I would want. Not Daniel, 3x on the charge rifle, farming that white shield, 94 left until it hits blue. But not a bad showing here for LTC, currently 17th overall in the day. They've had some really good moments of success and just kind of trying to find their way in that season 16 meta per se. We heard Nocturnal talking about a lot of people doing limit testing, trying to find what's going to work the best for them, and
豆やんあの見えてなくね
for themselves, you know, McLovin, especially always McLovin.
Love how you have to highlight McLovin.
You can't not highlight
回復がいくつあるか見えるのめちゃめちゃいいよな
The way that he's set up right now, over to the side with his purple Evo, he's got the Watson gen. He's looking to serve up the Happy Meal on the other side of those fence lines, but they're not going to be giving up this space. I mean, look at the outer perimeter. Everybody could see that there's a squad already in there. You don't need to take the skyward dive and expose one of those players to note that yourself. Animals being on the outside, on top of these rocks, right in front of TSM. They're playing on the edge of the circle. Be nice to see if we could get maybe a point of view of where the circle is going to be pulling right now, because with so many teams already making their way to North Pad, you can imagine right now that it's going to get congested thinking about the bunker spots. Exiting out of checkpoint, north through that choke point, exiting out of down beast, that's going to be a highly contested spot. So checkpoint, having that beacon now, seeing where that next circle is going to be going, it's going to be important. You can already see Madness not wasting any time to start rotating in that direction.
This is very interesting, right? You've got checkpoint.
どこの舞台が落ちたんですか一発あ、あれか
and are looking to play that outer edge of
ブラックフリーか
So if you see NRG leaving their drop spot
2年チャンピオンとかなんかあれだねストポーのランドマークが被ってるからしんどいんやな
So you kind of go to look land
さっき
very
も
much on the outskirts of that zone, and TSM still in the wall. Now you think about it this way: can they take that zip, maybe pop the ground cannon that's inside of the wall and try to shoot themselves over towards North Pad? I mean, that might put them out into the open. They might be able to find a couple of rocks and nestle between them on their rotation, but you got to think of what is their next game plan to find themselves all the way on the other side where there's just a culmination of all of the teams. But Lanimals on the left side in your screen there, vibing out inside the zone, healing away. The question is, do they have enough heals to take this kind of long-winded rotation?
That's a good question, especially since I think there's a replicator by the wall, which is why TSM is rotating back there, but they could also knock two birds with one stone. They could circle keep Lanimals, who don't have the best Evo shields. Lily is going to be able to see that they're going to be there, being on the Seer, being able to use that heartbeat sensor. But TSM right now are taking their time. Reps and Verhols don't like the fact that they have lackluster Evo shields to work with. How is still on the edge, trying to see if he could find some additional loot. Lanimals now are about to meet up with them, and they could see that the replicator's in use. He doesn't have any more meds to just try to sneak one in there and try to take something from them, whether it be a med kit or finding any additional syringes if he can.
I can only imagine how this is going to go down if Lanimals pushes into TSM now. I don't think it's the smart move. I think letting TSM kind of rotate out and then push in and use the replicator, I think that would be the most mission critical, and you can see TSM already
明日は見られきませんすいませんちょっと公務が
having
あるので無理で
of heals
す
as well. So now Lanimals getting to focus on
だ
that.
って明日も朝でし
Legends
ょ
Energy
8
currently
時でしょ
third
絶
overall
う
on the
ん無理
day,
だな
37 points overall. Still
明日は無理ですね来週かなできるとしたら来週の日曜日のしかできんでその翌日もあるけど月曜日無理だしでそのまた次の週とその次の週とかも全部もうあと月曜日ばっかだから NA のミラーは来週の日曜日が最後かな今日と来週の日曜日だけしかできないかな
Again, probably one of their more lackluster performances. They
まあ
got
言うて日本のも
13th,
もう
so they
始ま
were
るし
all
な
the way
そ
on
の
the
次
bottom
の
end of
週
the
から
overall standings. But they're still leading the overall standings right now with their consistency in the
その次の
previous
週
days
で
so
はない
far.
か
So it's been interesting to see how both FaZe and Glitch Energy have
い
been
や
able
そ
to
の
come
次
up
の
right
週だ
now in this lobby. 19 squads still alive, and FaZe are taking their time to see who's within this vicinity on this north side.
I mean, it's a glow up, right? This is the former BR Demons roster.
明
They
日
were
はホーム
11th
なん
on
です
match
よ。
day number 1 in
学生とかは休みなのか。
now under the Glitch Energy banner and sitting
No.
third overall for the day. I mean, not a bad showing thus far, but TSM right now sitting in this choke point here, trying to keep their rotation moving forward, but they are going to get kept out a little bit. Meanwhile, NRG falling off screen.
Energy is out at the hands of Optic. TSM now playing on that low ground. You can see the Havoc putting in the work. Taking the split position right now is going to be Reps, while 100 Thieves struggling. Lost out on Scurry, about to get finished right now by TSM. They definitely needed this. CLG also in that fight themselves over on the other side. Verholz, though, coming out from some additional loot, looking fantastic with that G7. You're going to start rotating over on the other side with clearing this north side of where the wall was originally. I like the option to backtrack to make sure that they had healthy evos, they had enough med kits, enough shield bats to then come right back into this fight while the circle wasn't doing enough damage to make their eyes water.
Look, all I know is when TSM was trying to push that choke point, I heard a charged up Sentinel, which means I know Scurry from 100 Thieves is nearby, because that is kind of his methodology now. At once, like, we knew the charge rifle reigned supreme, but Scurry and the Sentinel, name a better duo. That man is disgusting with that. And the Sentinel being charged up, it's just impeccable. But FaZe, currently #1 overall for the day. Frex sniped down.
春それから全部見れる。いいな。
I think they have the making of something great here. You know, FaZe
いいね。いいですね。
didn't have necessarily the best showing in Split 1. Made a few roster changes and now it's just doing
数年後
dividends.
にはもう見れなくなってるんだよ。
I love what I'm seeing from this squad. I also love
大人
listening
に
to
な
the
ると
comms,
数年後はもう見
positivity
れなくな
that
る
was coming out of there. Even though you felt incredibly low off that skyward dive in that previous game,
いい
it
な。
was nothing but good vibes for this team. I love the synergy that we're seeing shown from FaZe, and there's a reason why now they've been able to consistently stay on top, hold on to that #1 spot. Again, they don't have to worry about drug-free anymore, now that they were the first squad to go down when they were holding on to that second place
休み
spot
ね
for a。while.
そう、卒業式
FaZe
とかあっ
finding
た
the
から、もう
opportunity
ちょうど
though,
休み
trying to
だ
close in
な。
the gap after getting some ticks of damage with that charge rifle. They're going to try to close in the gap on this building.
I mean, something to keep of note is the
おい。
fact that first place with 51
逃
points.
げろー、玉転が
That
し
is
じ
an
ゃ。
average of about 10 points per game that is putting you in the lead after 5 games. That is an incredibly
当たるね。
low-scoring series, and it just goes to show you it's actually a really challenging lobby.
It's been crazy. Look at this too in the feed. The creeping barrage from Hell being on that bang, sending out that ult, getting some knocks, Verholz popping off, Glory gets taken out. Time to wake up out here, TSM. 17 squads left, and they are playing this very smart on the edge of the circle currently right now. They've cleared out the entire east side, minus 2 teams that are still taking their time to make the rotation into that next circle. You can see it right here, actually. They're going to be holding on to this choke point, which is a very good idea because they could deny the rotation opportunity from the squad that ends up staying on top after exiting out of this fight of checkpoint. In case they don't want to rotate from the backside and they want to take control of that
TSM
north
どう
side,
行くん
who's
だろ
going
う
to be
な。
waiting for them than none other TSM.
Yo, look at where LAN is too. They have made their way out of the wall and are just on the south side of checkpoint. So quite entertaining there. The fact that they've been able to make that play. There is a ring conflict
Dale.
leave here at checkpoint
Dale,
as
anata
well.
wa.
And if they can kind of
Anata
stay
wa
here when
dare?
that happens. Yeah, this is gonna be on LAN. You can see Lou. The race is
no.
getting a little bit of wild, but let's jump into a listen in with FaZe and just hear how they navigate this
誰だ下
engagement.
にいるの。
I'm
They're
going
gonna try to
inside.
swing left. They wasted all their util. Listen, they wasted all their util. We're good. They're gonna try to take space west.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, let's walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up.
You have Cyril? You need
Right here, underneath us, underneath us. Ulting, ulting. Look at that, look at that.
Yeah, I'm looking, I'm looking.
We don't know where the other ones are.
Scanning one. Yeah, I do not know where the other one is. Play slow. He might be far.
He's on my door.
Careful,
on this
Snipe.
door. On my door, on my door.
I'm looking for him.
Scan 2.
Race in hard.
All 3 there. One swing at me. Crack. Knock
got one
one.
as
う
well.
ーん、まい。
Swinging, that one's swinging. One
Watch
on
out,
side,
wait,
one on
動
side.
きやば、バンが。
He's like 60 HP or 100 HP. He's finishing me. He's gonna get swapped.
Play by swap if you have to.
うわ、頑張ったー。
Yeah, I am.
Where the fuck is this guy, bro?
惜しい。
Bro, what? How are we losing that?
I don't think
Rex, you
Rex
need to
did
stay
anything.
し
Yo, Naughty just did a little dancey dance all around FaZe and Lanimals, able to hit the reset after that. So now first place on the match day is going to be out in the open, and Glitch Energy is the closest one to making a play for that. But Vayne and Aiden last alive for the GE team, and they are going for the wide swing, taking a lot of damage, but just trying to put it like that. AJC going down, but now can GE get the reset and then move? They have 55 seconds, and here sees the focus of attention coming in. They were able to get one up, but look who's here.
Lanimals moving in after taking their journey around the entirety of the north side of Storm Point, made their way downtown finally, and now trying to take advantage of that knock clear on the other side. Glitch Energy made their way over to the first place spot right now. Now that FaZe Drug Free are not involved, and they're looking to turn this fight around. Despite being at disadvantage, Naughty, he gets the one knock, he's playing up the he gets the wingman shot, and Glitch gets taken out. Lanimals come out on top. They needed that. Glitch did such an amazing job in that previous two fights. They were holding on to 54 points, 2 points right on top of FaZe to secure that first place spot for right now.
やだね、そのチャーライは。これ怒ってもいいです。熱い戦いに横やりを刺すチャーライは怒っていいです。いくらダークゼロの方といえど、横やりはちょっと本当に怒ってもいいです。なんか、よっしゃ、勝てるの時にやられたらマジでイラッとする。熱い戦いに。こんにちは、すぐるチャーライね。
Let's jump into a listening with Dark Zero to see how their comms are sounding.
Jumping down.
Make sure that's right.
Yeah. Look right.
It is, but it's like barely.
I fucking blocked my phone.
Nothing in the right building.
Okay, can we wrap it? Rapid, pink forward now!
Pink forward. They're fighting.
We need kills. One EK left. I'm going back then.
Nothing on scan.
They took portal. One took portal.
One guy on scan. Just the building. Get the building.
Hit 50.
These guys are free kills later.
I know. Hey, fighting kind of.
Give me your pep, Jen.
They're on roof, boy. Shoot.
Shush. Yeah, I'm coming.
C1 dead.
Nice.
Cancel here.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I can walk up above them.
I'm watching it.
They all died.
Okay,
nice. I can't let these guys grab.
We played that side of the building, Jen. We just need to kill this team in front of Hockey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need
60 on the Valk.
No, zero life.
遅いようやね。カモちゃん起きた？
There's one door.
It's on the sea.
They're fighting building.
Close. Walking up! 60, 70 on Valk.
She went back. She's back at the rock. Yep. They might Valk. No, they can't Valk ult.
I can't stop wasting ammo, bro. I'm keeping my ammo. Yeah, just ammo. Lie to you guys.
Don't let him walk.
We're just about out of charge. I mean, they're getting shot on the right, left, arcing us. Bad arc. 2 bad arcs. I'm putting them on scan. I can't see their Valk ult.
You cancelled it, right?
きついな。
Crack, station.
きついな。
C1.
Start walking.
Yeah. I hit the Valk 60.
Just walk.
Yeah.
Wait, play the left side on the building, right?
Yeah.
I need light bad, bro. I'm on the building.
Make sure he doesn't creep fast in the right.
Doesn't matter.
I'm climbing roof. I'm gonna put a trap on roof.
This team dead. Chill.
Putting a trap on roof.
Okay, now I'm looking right.
I need heavy.
Dropped you. I need light.
I have 4 bullets of energy.
Fuck.
Need
Hey,
heavy.
I heard rapping.
It should be the solo. It should be the solo. Yeah. Scanning him.
I'm me. Hitting 50.
I'm killing him with Jen. Stay jockey.
Yeah, I'm staying.
Okay, I'm going.
He's down this rock.
60. Dead. Can I
I'm gonna try loot for you. Not you.
I need light pad. Yeah. I'm gonna queue that for you. Drop me a lot. I need light bad.
カタリスト使いこなせたらめっちゃいいんだろうな。
Heavy if you can get some. Here, 60.
Yeah, cheers.
Get back up.
It's got the same ammo.
Anyone need bats?
I have 3. 6
I have one cell. I have one cell.
one bat.
Give me the
Dropping your
bat.
cells.
Here, drop 3 cells.
Okay, what's the play here?
Do you need bat, Shaki? Yeah, I'll drop
Listen,
you.
listen. One duo. Is this a duo, Sharky?
I don't know. I think so.
One's over there. There's one duo. There's 2 teams inside, 1 team fence.
I don't know which ones. I don't know which teams are doing.
Listen, comms. I think we go here. I think we wall across the fence line, bang all them back,
Yeah,
and then we're like next end zone. Or we just play here on the roof. I think that's better.
If we do your play and just like wall off our side of the zone, we're just chilling.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. You just wall across the fence line.
Do you want to wall onto them or outside? Like right side?
On me, straight across, literally.
Okay, yeah. Like onto them, yeah?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, yeah.
Then you just zero, and I bang off them, and they have to walk back. The other team fight, we win the game. Fighting inside.
Care the door, they can open it.
Hey, you should
You try to
go
do
to
it
your
now?
wall. Yeah.
Did it.
Bang off them.
I'm throwing Qs. I got space.
My bang out.
Yeah.
Copy this as well.
Okay, back to
Join.
I can't see it.
I'm banging.
I hit them.
Safe on me.
Scratch.
You should see
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Seal.
Hey, you stay warm. See at the end.
On our left.
We're chilling.
I'm just staying
I'm
crouched.
crouching.
They're in at the end.
すごいな。
Are we in zero? We're safe here. We're good here.
Yeah. Just watch the right.
There's a solo on the outside of the building.
Hit him red.
Then they
They're locking.
He's not.
He's
He's
solo.
not.
He's on roof.
dead.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh.
Let's chill.
The fine nades.
I'm smoking them.
I dodged it on the bin.
Sit on me, Chucky. You.
Yeah. I'm bad. I'm fucking.
100, 20, 30.
なんかやんと見せてきみたいな。わかる。
Oh, fuck, I fucked my cattle.
Chill.
On me.
Okay. Chill.
Popping
Run
syringe.
forwards now. Run forwards. Sit low.
Reloading.
いやー
Oh my god, I think we won.
めちゃめちゃ喜んどる。
Let's go.
あれね、ダークサイド結構ボイちゃんあっちいな。あっちい感じで喋っとんな。
All I heard was chill,
ナイス GG。
all of the
お
excitement.
もろ。
And we believe they may have won. I'm assuming they know they won the game, but the question is, did they win match day number 1 overall?
I think they did, Tiff. That dub probably put them in first place. They had so much KP to work with on top of that. Glitch nowhere in sight. Out of this entire
よう
lobby.
今のとこ
We
ヘイト
saw
買わん
what
かった
happened
ね。
earlier to
まあ
drug
まあ
free.
まあ。
That we saw what happened to FaZe. That was insane from Dark Zero. The patience paying off, the screaming comms, the excitement, finding out that there's a duo on the other side. Please tell me, Sharky, is there a duo
す
right
ごい
there?
テンション
I
だ
love
ね。
the energy from Dark Zero.
ふな
And
ぐらい
what
うるさ
better
かった。
way to end the day than a 2-time win on Storm Point. They won game number 4 too with 13 KP. That was huge. They're so good on Storm Point.
Look, I was just brought on the Dark Zero roller coaster of emotions for that entire ride of the end game. But Rain Day, let's bring you back. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that Dark Zero victory.
Are there many other thoughts that every single person glued to the screen didn't all have? This is what it's like to be a human, where some moments transcend thought. We don't need to transcend words. We don't need to speak about it. We know what that meant. We all felt it. What a rush of energy, excitement, tactics, and hype from Dark Zero. I feel like we were all a part of that moment, all tensing up, all probably didn't breathe that much, waiting for the reaction. And Dark Zero gave us exactly what we hoped they might. A historic win that, if they
始
were
まりは
right,
ここから
would put them in first place at the very end of the day. What a story that would be. My goodness gracious. Taking a look though at this entire game, you guys called it AJC. They came up against Drug Free. It was a tough one for Drug Free, but 2 good games got them into a great spot, Vicky, and that was enough, especially for a team that probably doesn't expect to be in the top 2, top 3, top 4 starting out in Pro League. What an accomplishment from them. And of course, how can we not talk about FaZe?
Yeah, they did such a fantastic job. Love hearing their
お、終わりました。
what they could have done
ダーク
better
ゼロが
at the end of those comps here.
取りました、チャンピオン。
The slip and slide shoot
ここめっちゃ頑張ったよな。
find yourself losing out on
欲
this
しいよ
fight.
な。
Had a nice health advantage, but sliding right through was our last player, Glitch as well. Another one of our consistent squads, staying on top before they were inevitably third party by Lanimals.
And you can look at this tip. Second place, they go down here. They had 50 points. Where did FaZe go down? You can kind of get a little bit of a preview. And how much did that end up giving them? 3 points plus the 3 KP. Oh boy, this is looking very exciting. Starting out in 4th place too. 5th squads remaining. I mean, we talked about Dark Zero 2 tip. Get them into 5th place, and they're pretty good at closing out a game.
Look, this is where things started to get a little mixy for Dark Zero, and where we kind of went into that listen, and so we got the journey alongside them, their battle of not having any ammo, and it was kind of like, hey, loot for me, will you loot for me, bring me some ammo. We're trying to navigate this because they were kind of in shambles in terms of their ammo, so they had to play it safe. And then you hear that chill right here, just take it easy. There's a lot of engagement, and going in at the right time here, able to pick up even more eliminations, just brilliant, right? And then being on that journey with them and getting to hear the comms.
お、マサさんお帰り。話は変わりますか？そうなんですよ。チャンネル登録1000人が見えてきました。本当に誠にありがとうございます。スペシャル TY。
the team in cohesion in
120人ぐらい。
There is no right choice. There's just a good choice after a good choice to hopefully get you into the position where you have a chance to win. Meet lovers.
120人ぐらいでチャンネル登録が1000人いきます。
You can see TSM finally getting a few points there. It's a
動画再生時間4000時間が基準なんですけど、もうガルル9000時間いってるので、マジで人数さえいけばすぐいける。
Even more of an impressive day. FaZe, what a great showcase of this
CM
squad.
時間ないね、多分日本の世界。
SmackDown reuniting in the APEX scene with a new duo, a crew that I think has been
もうちょっと1000人なんですよ。
just got married a few
もし今日初めて見に来てくださってる方、しょうがないなって方がいらっしゃいましたら、チャンネル登録してもらって、していってもらえると嬉しいです。 来週の B 対 C かなもうミラー配信します。NA の。で、26からは日本のやつは全部ミラー配信する予定なので。
GE was trying really hard to make a standout after we saw, you know, drug
一緒
free
に見ましょう。よかったら寿司をスパチャしていいな、寿司をスパチャおもろいな。寿司をスパチャか、そうか、確かに。パンツだよ。
the thorn in the side, they sent them packing, and at this point it opened the door for Dark Zero.
来週多分同じじゃない。ちょっと時間見ときます。
I think back, and I'm looking kind
時
of
間
here
チェ
at
ッ
the
クし
stats from
と
Split
きます。
1, match day number 1. It was Dark Zero that took
BC
that
だから
match
TSM がいないんかな。
victory, and they hadn't really had too much success throughout that day. They
TSM 見なかった。
Well, we've built the tension.
けど、
The fans, the ALGS community is waiting. We are waiting.
来週の日曜日は TSM がいませんと。
What ended up happening? Did Dark Zero come back and win? They did! Oh my god!
ダークゼロカムバック。
Pro day performances you will see. Dark Zero climb all the way.
フェーズはなんかあれだね。
and take
いいところに毎回いてみたいな感じだな。なんか平均的にいいポイント持ってってる感じ。ブラックフリーはもう1戦目2戦目でモリモリモリモリって感じだね。TSM がな TSM がなだな。メンバー違った？どういうあれなんだろう。明日は見れない人の分も一人で楽しく応援してきます。よろしく頼んだ。ああ、この後ランクするか寝るかでめっちゃ悩んでるから。普通にランクしたら目覚めるんだよ。この後ランクするか。飲み物入れてランクするか。
Again, lot of showing up for new squads.
NRG もいいとこ。
I'm really, really excited about what this means for our upcoming split. Let's take a look at the split standings. Because of course, what do these wins mean? It means
なんかファ
if
イ
you
ト
get first,
カタ
you
リス
get
ト使う
25 points headed
カ
into
タ
the
リスト
split.
難しい
Third gets you 18. Second
なウ
gets
ル
you
トは敵を
21
分断す
and
る
so
の
on
に
and
使
so
う
forth.
使
10 will
うと
get
い
you
いとか
10.
なんか
We'll
ね
throw that all the way down to 20 where it's 0. You know, 15 will get you 5th.
難しい
All of these things add up in terms of your tally at the end and being able to make the playoff. Big deal here. And Dark Zero have just made their lives a whole lot easier.
カタリ
Of
スト
course,
ね
when you talk
慣れ
about
ないとマジで
performances,
わから
Dark
ん
Zero, you gotta mention them. But there's also some standouts in terms of individual play. That's why at the end of each broadcast, we introduce our Monster Energy
え
MVP.
MLK はレップスあそうなんだえ1戦目でもレップスじゃなかったのお前
Tiff, Vicky, you know how we do it. Tiff, I think I'm gonna start with you here. Who did you have for your Monster MVP nomination?
いやなんか最初の試合レップスって名前だった気がしてでなんかコーチかなんかが出てきたのかなと思ってたそうなんだじゃあ普通に本調子の3人だったってことね普通に3人でやってたあとはちょっと調子悪かったな今日さあ寝るかランクするかランクしたら目覚めるよな多分夜に早く寝ちゃうっていうのはやめたいんだよなでも今寝たら多分夕方まで起きるしな
The man just got married too. Like I said, marriage buff. It's strong. He was looking stylish in London. Had a little top hat. I said, okay, Phony. Good shout out for him as well. And FaZe, great showcase of them. Snapdown Frex and Phony. Vic, who do you got? Monster MVP nom for today.
I gotta talk about it. Impulse was out here from drug free. Yeah, they had a strong
熱い
start.
女
And
だ
yes,
ぜ
they fell
この
off,
人
but the fact that they were able to stay on top, work together with both Asur and Saucer, I can't wait to see more of this team. Specifically talking about the different off angles that Impulse was holding with that G7, one point with the charge rifle. I love being able to see player growth. I love to highlight this. Coming in from Series E myself, I love to see a lot of the players that I get to commentate starting off my career in Apex. Now seeing these players pop off in the Pro League. Impulse is coming out and he's been really putting his time to shine with the rest of his team. I can't wait to see more of Drug Free.
Well, I gotta say, those two squads, Drug Free, FaZe, they made a splash. But the biggest splash, the cannonball at the end, the last person to jump into the pool and get everybody wet on the sidelines. You know who it was. It had to be Zero and Dark Zero at that. I was just so impressed with the way that they were able to play today. Not just the fact that they had something to prove, but when you look back a season before, their journey from starting out in NA, taking that massive risk, which gets them points in line, and then adjusting as the season went on, barely making playoffs, and then not doing what they want in finals, not even having a chance to play that final zone because they weren't on match point. You could tell this is a Dark Zero that's focused, that believes in themselves, and yes, there is a reason that we have called Zero the best IGL in the game. It's because of moments like that. Although he's got to get that title back by winning LAN, you can certainly see why he had it. Those have been, for today, our Monster MVPs. Beautiful stuff there. And Tiff, Vic, we got a special conversation.
使ってくれたらチャンネル登録する。
You know, it's great to hear from coaches and
いや、
it's
使
great to hear
いたいな
from
とは思ってますけど、めちゃめちゃ下手くそなんで、ちょっと何とも言えないです
both of those here with us as an interview.
練習はしたいなって気持ちはあるけど。
I believe. Getting ready to talk a little bit about that last moment.
うんにゅ。頑張ろう。右の女の人、エマストーン。誰だエマストーンって。
Talk to me about that roller coaster of a final game and a final moment watching on the sidelines, watching with your team.
As soon as I saw the zone in the beginning, I was like, I know exactly where they should be, and they got the spot on top down beast, and I just knew it was it. There was just all the dots were connecting, and I was like, we know exactly how to play this zone, and it played exactly how I saw it was going to play out.
I love that. I think it was really brilliant. And I know I've had a brief moment to chat with you, kind of.
いや、エマストーンさんの方がちょっときつそうな顔してない？
I'm curious. After maybe
お化粧バッチリで、こっちの人はナチュラル思考な感じ。
having about 30 days before split 2 to
でも私は少しわかる。
especially a new season. How has everyone kind of been navigating it? Because clearly they showed out.
カタリストちゃん練習しつつって感じだな。いやね、カタリストやることが多すぎて頭がねこんがらがるんよな。めちゃめちゃ頭こんがらがる。
I've talked a little bit on this in the past. I joined DZ just before the last split, we had no time in North America to fight for POIs and show a presence
め
and
ちゃ
really
めちゃ優
establish
しそうじゃ
dominance.
ないこの人。
All throughout last split, we had to play multiple different team comps for multiple different POIs, and that even led into the LAN. And we made it to finals in LAN, but unfortunately, the last day didn't go how we wanted it to go. So we made some adjustments on the way back. In the past month of scrims, we have just been doing really, really well. I think we actually were first place overall out of all scrim results for the past month. So I'm happy that like all the changes that we've made, specifically
ライオンの
switching
たてがみ
Sharky
み
and
たいな髪
Zero.
型して
We
る
have Zero on a more aggressive
ひげ
character. He's
ひげ
playing
まで
Bangalore
含
now,
めて
and we put Sharky on Seer.
でき
And
るこ
he's
と多いか
really
らこそ
stepped
の
up
強
in the
さです
communication
そう
department. He's
ね
not known as the very, very communicative person.
え
So I'm happy
扉
that
を
he was
塞げ
able
る
to
の2つまでだっ
take
け
those shoes, and I really feel like we earned the win today.
アビリティで針出せるのは
Talk
4つ
about
までだっけ
communication. I have to ask you two
3
questions.
つま
The
でか
first one
4つ
is
までか
who is the one that is happy screaming on the comms when it comes to a lot of these plays being
でも
made
生かせれ
by
ば強い
DZ?
よ
I love the energy out here. I heard it burst through the mic at the very end, but the energy is so contagious. I love hearing the excitement coming through from your team. And the second question is, how are you guys so strong on Stormpoint versus World's Edge? It is crazy
アビリティ
to
は
see
3
how
つ
you
か
guys
あ
wake up by the end of World's Edge. It's like, all right, time
扉
for
は
Stormpoint. It's
2
time
つ
to get our
2つだ
morning
っけ
coffee.
So all three of the boys, when the energy
結構
is
少
there,
ない
it's
んだよ
flowing.
な
And last
まあ
split,
まああんま
actually,
できす
my
ぎて
org
も
flew me out to Texas, and I've been
何
staying
も
with
で
the
きない
boys
もん
for
ね
a few
敵が
weeks.
扉2
And
つ
I'm going to be
あ
going there next week for the next
3
two
つ
play
か
sessions. I'll be in the house with them, so I can't wait for that. But I was very happy that after an
金髪のお
underperforming
姉
World's
さん
Edge
な
in
ん
the
か
first three
男
games, that
心
we
を
were
分
able
か
to
ってるよ
really
な
crank it up and
なん
do
か
well in the last
あざ
two
とい
Stormpoint
女
games.
代
Like I
表
said,
みたいな
this
仕草
split
す
we had
るあ
time
の
to
金
fight
髪
for
の人
POIs. And we were able to claim both Fragment
いい
East and
女感が
West,
漂ってる
and also Mill, which is arguably, I think, probably the best POI in Stormpoint. And we obviously performed very well on from Mill there. We were surprised a little bit today on World's Edge by the team that landed Frag East, and they weren't really a problem. It was more of a nuisance. They kind of diverted our rotations a little bit and maybe slowed us down a little bit. And I think that mentally made us make a little bit of poor decisions on World's Edge. So we're gonna review that, bounce back, and do better next
常に
time.
上目遣いカメラ目線
Incredible performance, PvPX. I know that you
笑顔
have
の
worked with this
角度
team, and it seems
口
like
角
things
の
are
角
going
度
in the
とか
right
ちゃんと
direction.
計算されてそ
Much
う
better start than last split, and I can expect that you guys will be looking to get back to LAN,
微
having
笑ん
that
でる
trophy in your hands very soon in split
あ
two.
ガルル明日ぐらい下の人ぐら
Yes,
い
sir.
豪
The
快
confidence
な
is
な
there.
ん
We're
か
ready for next
サバ
couple
ッと
weeks,
系
and
の
I
方が好
cannot
き
wait to land.
えかわり別にないね
All right, my man. Thank you so much for
え
joining
かわい
us.
いかわいい
Good
けど
luck
ね
in
す
your
っごい
next
かわいいよ
games,
す
and
っごいかわいいけどね
congratulations on the dub today.
なん
Thank
か
you, sir.
カメラ映り分かってんなっていうね
All right, PvPX coach of Dark Zero has been working with the boys, and boy, some good
Good
work. I can
morning,
tell you that.
everyone.
Come back from behind.
Good
It's always
morning.
fun to see it. But you know what's always fun to see? These little moments at the end of our show where we can
Hello,
highlight players, we
hello.
can highlight interviews, we can highlight things that make a difference in your Apex Legends game, which is why it's time for our segment called
一番上の
What's
人
in
の可
Your
愛い
Pack, presented by
一番上の人
Legends
も可愛いよね分かるわこれ一番
Today,
左の
I'm
人
gonna
の人
lead
今
in with Vicky
可
here
愛
to
い可
kick
愛い
off one of the best weapons I think we've seen in
さあ
Apex
全然何言ってる
introduced
か分から
over
なかっ
the
たけ
seasons.
ど
We've had a 3-shot burst in the Hemlock. We've had a 5-shot burst in the Prowler. Now we got a 4-shot burst. You know what I'm talking
楽しかっ
about.
たね
It's the Nemesis.
ラン
Walk
ク
us
す
through
る
a
か
little bit of the value of the newest weapon
ランクす
in
る
the Apex Legends ecosystem.
Love it. The newest weapon to grief me in my own games, but it's strong for a reason out here. And of course, that fire rate,
What's
the more that
in
you
your pack?
shoot, is
どういうこ
insane.
と
The beamage of damage that it comes out with. Now being the new weapon, so many of these different teams have been using it within their own weapon
真ん
composition.
中
And
ちょい
it's
したあ
been
たりの
clearing out so
両
many
目
players so quickly, especially when you have the focus fire come in.
そういう
Obviously,
人が
focus
違うから
fire
誰
is
誰
strong
誰
in
誰
general,
誰
but the Nemesis just
チャーリー
beams
歯が
on
めちゃ
another
くちゃ
level where early
もう
game
勝
it
手に
is
チャーリーにして
absolutely
るじゃん
lethal.
お前レインデイみたい
And
な名前
this is one of those
出て
things
る
you've
じゃん
been talking about. It ramps up, and it ramps up in a big way to be able to
あ鼻が
eliminate
詰まってやばい
almost anybody when you hit your shots.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, if I'm trying to rotate into a POI and I hear that Nemesis kind of firing at me, I'm doing a little ducking and diving and trying to avoid it at all costs. But the utilization of it at the hands of Glory at that end game, it just really goes to show you they were able to navigate and just do so much damage with little time, right? Protectful, just kind of peeking over the edge, throwing down a couple bursts, going back to the cover. It was just well done. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite guns that has been introduced when it's in my hands. Only then.
Only then, yeah. We don't like it in other people's hands. In ours, we feel good about that. That's your wrap up of the Nemesis. That's been what's in your pack
存在をもう忘れてたよ。
WD Black. Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and
this
gentlemen.
has been a great day. It's been one of my favorite days of Apex Legends. I think this has been the best opener. And I think you in the chat can agree. A lot of people behind the scenes. I know a lot of community members are watching. And this is probably the best opening day I think we've ever had at the ALGS. And it's so many different reasons. Tiff, Vicky, I want to give your final thoughts on why today was so special, what it meant to you, and just kind of looking at, you know, the impact of what has happened, and also looking forward to so many more things to come in Split 2. Tiff, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's just the new season, right? Season 16 revelry coming into fruition, a lot of changes with the legend classifications. But not only that, but it's been a lot of teams. I've said it throughout the throughout NA broadcast today. It's the teams that are stepping up to challenge the powerhouses to make their names known, and I think it's really cool that when you shake things up all over the place and people are trying to limit test and figure out what makes them work and how they can utilize whichever legend to their best ability, whichever play style they want. But it comes down to what a lot of players have been mentioning to me when I reach out and I'm like, hey, how are you guys feeling? It's like, we are working on improving our team synergy. It's always that. It's the team dynamics, the ability to work as a trio. It's not harping on which legend is what, it's how they play as a team. And I think the teams coming out of the qualifiers, making a name for themselves, it's just been a beautiful opening day in that regard.
Really well put, Tiff. Incredible stuff today. And the calls and the action, and even that little bit of hosting where I took a break between game 5 and 6. Vicky, what's going on with you? I mean, what a great day, and also, you know, so much more in store here for Split 2. We've seen some fireworks.
Honestly, the changes that Season 16 have brought for us have also shaken up the way that these pros have been playing in the Pro League. Yeah, we've been following scrims, but already after those first 2 games, at that point, seeing Mad Maggie, still seeing Cossack being played. We saw Cossack, Gibby, and Wraith being played out as well in CLG's composition. So much was bringing out a lot of these individual player strengths, where we even heard from Nasty in the EMEA region. We're testing out a lot of things. They think that other teams are going to be testing out these first few days on what composition works for them and their playstyle. And then we heard it from Not. We're hearing Wraith coming back in. We're seeing Mad Maggie in NA. We're seeing Rampart in EMEA. It's a nice mix-up, and I love to see where this comp is going, because it isn't just the Catalyst and Seer, Bangalore and Seer. Yes, these comps are finding a lot of success, but I love seeing the legend diversity overall that we've been exposed to. Much less Horizon, a little Wraith sneaking its way in there. What else are we going to see now moving on to day 2? What is going to change up for some of these squads? I had a really fun time being able to cast a lot of these high-level matches here in the Apex Legends Global Series.
Thank you both so much. I mean, you've been with us through Split 1, incredible performances at LAN, now Split 2. It's time to take a rest. We're going to say goodbye to Tiff and Vicky. Incredible job. Can't wait to see you again on the broadcast. I know it'll be a couple weeks, but I am looking forward to it for sure. All right, looking to close out today. Guess what? It is not just ALGS Saturday, it's ALGS opening weekend. Tomorrow we go again, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got an incredible showcase of the best EMEA teams going back at it. 10 a.m. Pacific time, the action starts. We'll see Ascend, Papa Kashira going for the goal. They did well today. Can they do even better and take it home, especially with the likes of Fire Beavers no longer being their competition? This man right here, Swinny, is going to be firing that bow, and hopefully not get it land in opposition. And will we see this squad, with the addition of Graceful, playing a little bit of Wraith, start to shake things up? And then fast forward to America, you know who it is, the CEO. He's going to call a board meeting tonight. Wasn't happy with the performance. 18th place. Can they shake it up tomorrow? It'll be difficult. Doesn't get much easier, I'll tell you that, because Hodsec, Nocturnal, the squad of they are ready to go. They go ahead and psych you out if you think they aren't going to be contending for the top 3. What a day. Thank you so much. We love you, community. Thank you, broadcast. Thank you, production. Thank you, everyone behind the scenes. And everyone who makes this community so special. We appreciate you. From Tiff, Vicky, myself, Rainday, and everyone else who's been a part of putting this together. We appreciate you. We love you. And remember to never give up, never stop gaming. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
tomorrow. そう、時差があるから多分ね、8時なんだと思う。今日と一緒だと思う。ぽい。ぽい。 昨日ガルルもランクでこの場所で戦おうと思ったら敵が全然手前にいたんだよな。カメムシが出てきて絶叫した。最後のファンサインね、リチャードじゃないと思うけど、多分。ガルルもカメムシがこの世で一番嫌いなの。はい、ということで、皆様、はい、まあ一旦終わりまして、まあなんかあれだね、勉強になりましたね。カメムシくんは無表で使うストーリーっぽい。カメムシつかめねえから、彼もなんかティッシュペーパーで包んでトイレに流してる人。生きては返さんぞっていう気持ちで。最近ね、つかめるようになったそのティッシュめちゃめちゃぐるぐる巻きでね。けどなんか屋根とかについてるやつは箱、喉ぬれマスク入ってる箱でシュッて取ってトイレにカーンってやって流してるはい。いやあれまず匂い出したら絶望よだ。もうその部屋に入れなくなる。わかる。ということで、鼻水やばい。鼻水やばいし、鼻詰まってやばいっす。まあ一旦この配信切り替えて、飲み物に入れてすぐにランク配信を始めようかなと思います。むちっと声だと無視処理ハゲすれば接近が苦手なハリーしてます。あるよねー。ムンサって出演来てくれ。かわいそうだね。キモいけど。いや、キモいけど、もう彼の部屋に入ったらもうお前の命はないって感じ。サイコパスにやれたかね。確かに。それの。みんなお疲れるありがとう。お疲れる。はい。じゃあ一旦終わりまして、また後でランクでお会いしましょう。じゃあ、一旦お疲れでした。バイバーイ。